camera records normal though, so it's fine.
Hello.
It's fine. Hello!
I'm Lauren.
It's Bridget and Lauren. And we have a friend on. It's Hunter!
Hi, everybody.
Wow. Crazy.
I'm happy to be here. I just want to say thank you for letting me, of all people, be your first guest. Someone that has no social standing whatsoever.
Hey, we don't either. Stop. We have 9 listeners. Maybe.
Do you?
9.
Well, I'm one of them.
So there you go.
One is also me because I tech check.
So we found 3 of the 9 listeners. The other 6.
We're here on this podcast.
We all have something in common now. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
We all listen.
Don't we love it?
I skipped through it because I just needed to make sure it uploaded correctly. After the one time I didn't upload it correctly, and it's just an entire hour-and-a-half video of Lauren's face, and I'm like,
I watched it. So it's awful. I hate it.
I'm so sorry. I forgot to hit split screen.
As a former podcaster, I know, and the one who did the bulk of the editing, I know the struggles of putting this together. So, look, as much as you all are doing, it's all good.
I just am so tired of hearing my own voice. It's like,
yeah, it gets that way.
It's the worst. It's the worst, and oh
my gosh,
I hate it. I'm like, I always sound stuffy. Like I know I have allergies, but I always sound stuffy. So that's my current pet.
I don't think you sound stuffy, but I hear you all the time. So
I don't think you do either. I think it's.
I do. It's fine.
Agree
I do.
to disagree.
Well, Hunter, do you remember how we met?
Yeah, I do. So, like, of course, we knew each other, through work before this, but it is a memory I think fondly of. I was going through a pretty massive breakup, and what year was this?
2016.
2016?
Wait, I know about this breakup. Why do I know about this breakup?
You probably know
have
about
a mutual friend. We'll skip that.
Okay, we'll get over
it. So we're I'm going. I think in all my breakups, I end up doing this thing where I dive head first into like the things that I love. So my Star Wars love was more fervent than ever. I was so excited about the release of that was just before The Last Jedi. Is that right?
2016. No, we were a year away from Last Jedi.
We were a full year away.
Because 2017 was Last Jedi. 2019 was The Rise of Skywalker.
You're right.
This is a pop quiz, by the way. This is a trap to see if you remember.
I'm gonna fail
because I know.
Yes. So, but I remember. The first time I remember like really hanging out with you was during the Carrie Fisher Memorial that we had.
That was rough.
And that was like, I feel like that was the day that our friendship solidified in a way.
Yeah, because I was standing on a bar stool outside trying to make a speech and choked up, but I just felt this lovely hand because you were spotting me because this bar stool was horrible. Mm-hmm. And you had your hand on my calf, and then I just felt like a little pat, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. And like all of my like Star Wars memories around that time, because I remember being at the draft house when I found out that Carrie Fisher had passed away. I remember being at the draft house when I found out that Debbie Reynolds had passed away. Like it was just, I was spending all my time at work. And so and you were there a lot, of course, because you were in the office, like right next to there. So we, it was, that's, I think our friendship, we would have been friends, but our friendship is specifically forged in the fires of
Star Wars and Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the first time we ever met, I was still in training of being a new creative manager. It was in 2016.
Okay.
And it was a May the 4th screening. It was Spaceballs, because obviously we couldn't book Star Wars. And you were hosting Spaceballs. I introduced myself to you. I tripped and almost ate it. And then Scott was like, that's embarrassing. And I had a huge crush on you. And so Scott was just like, you good? I was like, we need to leave. We need to leave.
Oh my God.
That's the first time I met you, because that's the way I took a picture of Gabe at work, and it's still Gabe's profile picture.
Yeah.
It was you hosting Spaceballs, and I was like, that guy's cute. And Scott went to introduce us. I tripped and almost like ate it, and you're like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm the new creative manager. Goodbye.
Oh my God. Well, okay,
the first time we met.
So one, take comfort in the fact that I did not remember you tripping. It's water off a duck's back.
That's great.
That's incredible. Wow. I love hearing stories like that because I never remember the first time I meet people. I just remember like, oh, this was the solidifying experience, clearly.
Yeah, that was the solidifying experience.
Because I
sure.
know that we were like working together a bunch before the
Carrie because Fisher you Memorial. Would host at Westlakes all the time, and so I would always be there hanging out with Paris.
Right, and then
I'd always see you there.
That was the reason you asked me to come to the Carrie Fisher Memorial because you were like, oh, he's a big Star Wars fan too. We should yeah. And I was just there for support.
I remember we also went and saw Sausage Party together, and I never wanted to. I lied to you that night, so there's a confession. Because this was also
so many confessions happen.
Oh my god!
Gotta save it for a podcast.
Yeah, that's it. This is it.
I'm here for it.
This is the tea. Lauren's literally sipping the tea.
Please continue.
I watched Sausage Party that like Friday or Thursday it premiered because I was checking it out for work because we had done so much promo. Mm-hmm. I was taking photos, and I went to Westlakes for something, and I still had a crush on you, and you were like, "Hey, you want to come see Sausage Party with me tonight?" I just watched it, and I was like, "I never want to watch that movie again." And so I did.
Oh no!
I watched that movie twice in one night. It's the only time I've ever seen that movie.
I feel so
guilty. I'm the one who told you.
Bridget,
yes.
we're better friends now because now I know you did that.
I saw
me.
Sausage Party,
and that
movie is historic. It is what it is. But I never wanted to watch it twice in one night.
That I was led to believe that movie would be a much more important movie than it, and it is all but disappeared. That movie does not exist.
How could that movie ever be important? That's just a question.
I did put it in last week,
but I'm good.
We made the company that we worked for made the biggest deal out of that movie, and so I was like, man, we're watching something that's going to be like a real cultural cult hit. Nobody talks about that.
They said the same thing about the interview.
Yeah, that
was absolute garbage too. I remember my dad being like, "You can't go to work today. You're gonna be bombed and killed."
My favorite was that it said above San Antonio, it was like New Braunfels was on the hit list. I was like, "What are we known for?"
I know. Oh, also with all of your sweet Carrie Fisher moments, I would like to say that I hosted the memorial at New Braunfels. And I had not seen Star Wars at this point, but I was the only one available, and I was forced to do it. And the people there did not think I did that very well, so I just let one of them take over for me. I was like, you know what? You have a lot to say. Why don't you step up?
But does that sum up New Braunfels, or what? Like, they think they're better, and they did it. Well, it's like, all right.
At that point, I was just like, you know what? I've been here for 20 hours, and you can do whatever you want.
See ya.
I'm tired.
Yeah. Hosting, it's a gig.
It's
a
so
gig.
much.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot.
Star Wars
it's fun. It's a lot. Hey, y'all want to host Elf?
No,
just kidding. I am
love you.
Oh, Hunter has just left the chat.
Okay, so Star Wars aside, since we are an anime podcast, I know that you haven't. We just talked. You haven't seen a lot of anime, but I would like to know your first anime and your favorite anime. I need both of those.
This is great. So, I told Lauren before we started recording that she's sort of sandwiched in between two Star Wars nerds that don't know anime very well.
That's okay.
And
I'll teach you.
Look, so yes, please. Look, I have a cousin, a dear friend of Bridget's. My cousin, my big brother, is a giant weeb. And has taught me most of what I know about anime up to this point.
Is this my secret best friend Mike, who doesn't know that we're best friends yet?
Yeah.
Yes, that is Michael.
Yeah. And so I've found my anime friends amidst. But when I was a kid, I remember my first anime memory really is Pokemon. Like I was a big Pokemon kid, and then I was a giant Yu-Gi-Oh kid after that.
I loved Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I was that nerd that had the full-on arm thing that
my parents wouldn't buy that for me. I wanted it so bad, and the problem was I was so addicted to buying packs of cards that I would never save enough money to have the arm thing.
No,
I wanted more cards.
No. What was it called? Is it a card dex? Is it? I don't
remember. Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Was
at this
a world
point, I don't
away.
remember. So.
I just remember people went to the Shadow Realm. That's all I got.
Blue Eyes White Dragon, can't lose.
That was so good.
Thank you.
So, I would say, like, if you're asking for first, I mean, because I remember being like, I remember asking, I think it was my dad, like, Dad, why don't they articulate their words in the animation? And he was like, well, this is a Japanese style of animation called anime. And that was the first time I remember hearing the word anime. And it was about Pokemon. So, my dad is not an anime guy. I don't know how he knew that. But I guess
very well he's an otaku. He's very well cultured.
I suppose so. You did it. You used otaku.
Do I get like a word of the day star sticker? That's what I want.
Bum.
Yeah, you get
so
there you go.
That was my first experience with anime, and then I grew up in the heyday of anime and would like go over and watch like Samurai Champloo or like Bleach. I remember watching that when I would like spend the night at Mike's. But it was not until I got a little older and I think I was going through shit again, and I got in touch with Mike, and he was like, "Come over, I have something for you to borrow," and he gives me his Cowboy Bebop DVDs, his full collection of Cowboy Bebop on DVD, and then the movie, which I still have not watched because I've been told that it's going to break my heart.
I've never seen the movie either. I don't think I need to. I'm good. Like, I liked the show so much, I don't need the movie. Sure.
And so I would, honestly, I think I'm obsessed with Cowboy Bebop in a way that it has been hard for me to watch other anime. Like, complete thoughts, Hunter. I get so caught up in like how that show blends genres in a way that is familiar to me. It's so specific to like my taste that like I watched it and I was like, how can I love anything more than this? And it just has not been true for anything else. But
I'm gonna recommend an anime to you.
Please.
Well, go ahead.
So I have watched other anime since then, and have enjoyed a lot of other anime since then. What have I like? I've watched all of Blue Exorcist, which is fun and cute.
Super cute.
I've watched all of Assassination Classroom.
I haven't watched that one yet.
It's fun. It's really fun. And I started like the other day. I'm really bad at starting anime and going, I really like this, and then never finishing it. We were just talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, which I'm like so convinced that I need to stick with because I know I'm going to love it.
You do.
And the other day,
literally the next episode, you're gonna be hooked. Like,
hell yeah!
So just keep going, man. It's great.
And then the other day, I started like Dead Man Wonderland, which I've heard I will like a lot.
You will. It's very weird sci-fi. But okay, so I have one I need you to watch. I think this is gonna be the one to just push you forward. It's called Eureka 7. Okay. It's a Gundam style mecha anime.
Great.
But it's very Avatar. Not The Last Airbender, like Avatar the movie.
Why?
James Cameron.
How did in my history of anime I not bring up Avatar the Last Airbender? One of the great inspirations of my life. Yeah. Avatar rules.
But
wait, if that counts as anime, I have watched all of that and Korra.
There you go. That's a fourth.
I haven't seen Korra.
You haven't seen Korra?
It's so good.
I like Korra.
It's so good.
I like Korra more than Avatar, which I know is a hot take.
People fight me.
Yeah.
No, I've heard people say that. The little bit of Korra that I've seen, it seems like it's much grittier, and it's like dealing with a lot more adult themes. Like the show, great because the show. Like I remember, I grew up with Avatar. I was there for all 3 books. Watched all of them live, like I was obsessed with it. And so it's nice to know that like when they came back, that they were sort of growing up with the people that
well, it gets you right in the feels. I started watching Korra live in college, and so I had to like make a Nick Jr. account when they took it off air for that last season because it got so dark. But it was good, like tonally, like it was things that I thought were amazing. Like if you're in a war, these are the things you're gonna deal with. And me sitting there on Nick Jr. is like, what? And little commercials, watch Blue's Clues. And I'm like, come on, get back to the fighting.
Skip that.
I love Korra though. I know that people fight so much on that, but Korra, it's better, but it also just builds. Because I mean, like you said, it's the same characters.
It's more realistic, and I feel like it gives you characters with actual faults. Like I know Avatar had characters with faults, but these are like real people. I wanted to say a bad word, but I didn't. Aren't you proud of me?
Look at you. It saves me some editing.
You're welcome.
I edit. So we don't have to put explicit on our podcast. We can get more people. I edit out our curse words, but
That's good to know. I should have asked ahead of time. I have a filthy mouth, so.
But the best part is,
our first episode is awful.
I remember I did listen to the first episode, and I was like, "Oh, it's that kind of pod." Which, like, those are the kind of podcasts I listen to. But
me too.
My mom texted language, very Captain America style. And I was like, I know.
So you're like, all right.
I didn't know she was listening when we
Put
recorded
up the fences.
that.
Yeah.
But it's Bridget's fault. That's what I've gotten.
Better for marketing. It's better for marketing if I bleep it out. But I found out like the normal bleep is kind of like copyrighted, and I couldn't find it like a copyright-free bleep. When I was
you know what you should do?
So I have a dog barking. Like when Lauren
funny.
curses, it just goes woof.
I was gonna say you should like next time you bleep stuff, like grab samples of like anime yells. Like dudes screaming. Yeah.
And then I said copyright.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm sure you can find copyright free anime yells. That's gotta be somewhere. Right?
Once we make anime voice actor friends, we'll have
I'll do them. I'll get in the studio and I'll do some like like that, and then you can use those as your bleeps.
All the listeners right now are like pulling out their headphones.
Yeah, no, they love it.
I definitely got in the red there.
No. I just thought about doing the Wilhelm scream for a while.
Oh, that's good.
Then I was like, nah, I'll just do the dog.
Mm-hmm.
The what
Love
scream?
Wilhelm scream. You know the scream that's in like every movie?
But you know what
it goes like, yeah, like when they fall.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Let me pull up a Wilhelm.
My ultimate dream, like if you super love me, if you could just insert any Link sound from Zelda, I would be the happiest person ever. Just
yeah.
That's all I want. There we are.
Why is there not a Legend of Zelda anime? I feel like that should have long been a thing.
They were. There is one.
Bridget found it.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
There it is.
That's pretty classy.
It's in almost every movie and TV show.
Especially Star Wars. Like, Star Wars has made it a trend.
Yes, Star Wars.
There's a lot of people that die and fall off of tall things and get cut in half, and they need to scream. I get it.
Lose a hand?
Yeah, I would be Wilhelm screaming too, yo.
Wilhelmin.
I thought you were talking about a voice from Full Metal Alchemist for a minute because they all have crazy German names, and I was like, yes, of course, Wilhelm.
Oh, you mean Fuhrer King Bradley? His name is King, but he's also the Fuhrer.
Angry about that. Why?
When someone told me that his first name is like King and his last name is Bradley, but he's the Fuhrer, I was like, I thought it was just like Fuhrer/King Bradley. And they're like, no, it's like his name. And I was like,
just like
what?
A great thing in anime is when like you have like very extra names because they all love them. Like there's Balthazar and there's Elijah, and then there's always like a Todd, and you're like, what? What made them name that guy?
I know we talked about the Ninth Jedi in the last episode, but Ethan, I'm still upset about Ethan. Okay, can we just talk about that? So, why is there an Ethan?
Yeah.
Why?
What is there? All the names in there, like there's Jiro, the Margrave, and then there's.
I love it. Look, I know once we start the Star Wars conversation, I will sort of like whatever. But look, anytime there's like a normal dude's name in a thing, I'm like, that's my new favorite. I love that guy. I don't know why. I'm always like, that's the guy.
So I'm going to be really embarrassing about myself for a moment. I'm a fanfiction writer. I've been writing fanfiction since I was 13 because that's my life. And I write DC fanfiction because I love everything Batman. And me and Dana were writing this fic. It was like all like crazy olden time. And but it was about the League, Roz's League of Assassins.
Yeah.
But Tim had taken over the League of Assassins, and he gives like this crazy speech, and he's like, "I am the Serpent's Head. I am the darkness. I am this. I am Tim." Like, I left it in because it was beautiful.
That
like,
makes
even
me
if you
so
say I'm
happy.
Timothy,
That just makes me
like,
think of. That makes me think of Monty Python when he's like explaining this whole thing. Is like, they call me Tim, and his name was supposed to be something long and epic, and he couldn't remember his line, and so he's like,
I spent a whole year writing
Tim.
that fic. It is my least popular fic on Archive. And it was so
hey,
good,
but
though.
speaking of like favorite characters, having the plain guy name Roy in Full Metal Alchemist.
Well,
I like
man.
Alphonse because I'm extra.
I'll get
Roy
into Full
Mustang.
Metal eventually. Everybody has told me I'll love Full Metal.
I wasn't super into it until these
You
last
will.
4 episodes,
Rad.
and I called Bridget screaming. So that
It's
says
like-
something.
No, I missed your call because I was babysitting and then called you back
At the
to
worst
just sobbing
time.
and you failed me. And I was like, what?
I needed you. I needed you, Bridget. Well,
I was
I
babysitting.
was more needy
I
than
was
the
putting
children.
kids to bed.
I was upset.
3?
Yes,
More needy
I am
than
3
3?
children. I am 3 children in a
A
trench coat.
9-year-old, a
Yes.
5-year-old, and a 3-year-old?
All of them make up one
2.
Lauren, and she
2.
was hurt, and you
3?
missed it.
2 or 3?
Anyway.
so
You should
sorry.
watch Full Metal Alchemist.
I
and
will
we
watch
like
it.
it a lot.
Putting
I will
children
watch,
to
yeah.
bed. It is really good. I will warn you, it is very heavy, especially, well, I always say in the beginning, because I quit watching it in college. It was my first, like, anime I was
Right.
trying to get into, like, classic anime, not, like, Pokemon and stuff that I obviously watched. But I was, like, in a dark spot in college and got 4 episodes in and was like, I'm done with this show, I've quit! And so then that was, like, our first episode was the first 4 episodes, and I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. But it gets heavier, but the characters really suck you in, and if you're a shipper, and I'm a shipper, like, hardcore, like, man, they tie you in on those. There's only, like, really
2
one
now.
ship, but
2 now.
I'm really good at...
Am I wrong? Okay, we'll talk about it later. Don't worry about it.
It's
Oh
like,
my god, if you
what
didn't
other
see it, what's wrong with you? I don't know. I can't.
It's because I'm sinking on my other original ship, per usual.
That's fine.
Go
I
down
understand.
with the ship. All right, so we want to talk about Star Wars.
Let's do it.
So we're doing episodes 6 through 9 of Star Wars
Mhm.
Visions. So we're starting with Toby, or Tobi. I love Toby.
It's my dad's name.
Your dad's name is Alan Tudyk, and I refuse to believe anything
Well, my
other
dad's
than that.
name is Toby. Yeah, my dad looks exactly like Alan Tudyk.
Oh, that's
It's
good to
really
know.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
It's-
I've been
Alan
calling
Tudyk.
him Steve the Pirate
It's-
for years.
Eerily, like, he looks like Alan Tudyk. And I've never seen either one of them in real life, so...
I'll
You
send
know?
it through the group chat so you can
Sure,
see my
thank
dad.
you.
Everyone,
Yeah, please.
continue.
I was gonna ask.
Continue talking while I do this.
All right, so I said it kind of felt a little kiddish, and then it, which is kind of like what Tatooine Rhapsody felt like. But then I said it really reminded me of My Life as a Teenage Robot. Did y'all ever watch that?
Yes. Okay.
I loved that show.
I had the exact.
The animation style, the kind
Yeah.
of storyline. I was like, oh, I used to love this show. Like, so I got hooked as soon as I saw that, because I was like, that was my jam.
I had the.
I thought it was going to be like Astro Boy, because to me it looks exactly like Astro
Y'all
Boy.
are
So I
naming-
was like, oh, this is definitely that.
I love this.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Y'all are naming all the stuff that I wrote down notes. I don't have them with me, but I was like, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Astro Boy, Pinocchio were like the 3 things I wrote down.
Ooh. I
You
didn't
wrote
write
down
Pinocchio.
notes and then you didn't bring them with you to record the episode.
No, they're in the other room, but it's fine.
Do you want to go get them?
No. I think I've got them in my brain.
Okay.
In your brain.
Cool.
So I said it looked a lot. We don't really know where it took place. I said it looks a lot like Tatooine architecture. And then I guess I haven't watched this in a little while because I'm trying to remember who CO3 was. But I said they are adorable.
CO3 is like
Looks adorable.
So the short, right, is like the math. I'm trying to remember his name. But the CO3 is like the other little droid because there's TOB1 and then there's like the other his little buddy droid. That's CO3.
Okay, yeah, love. Most of my notes are, this is adorable. So the house is safe there, but the galaxy's a dangerous place. You know, classic overprotective, kind of what Luke's aunt and uncle had to deal with. And Toby loves to play Jedi. So the creator, did we get his name? I can't think of his name.
Hold on. I think I have like stuff up.
His name is Mitaka.
Professor Mitaka.
Okay, there we go.
Mitaka?
I just kept writing Professor, and I was like, well, I guess I decided that name wasn't.
Well, they only really call him Mitaka like twice.
I think so, yeah.
They just call him Professor.
One of my favorite quotes he says is like, being a Jedi is not as glamorous as in your dreams, because if you've watched any of Star Wars, ain't that the truth? We just watch like our favorite Jedis quit the Jedi Order all the time, and I'm like, God!
Or die.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Yes. Well, mine got cut in half in the first Star Wars that I ever saw. So can we?
Phantom Menace was your first Star Wars?
I still kept going.
Oh,
yeah.
This is a thing I'm learning about people. Is that people that don't grow up around Star Wars often are like, well, I should start with Episode 1, and it completely colors what you think about the franchise entirely different. It's crazy.
So. Here's what I did. When I was a kid, I watched Episode 1, and then I was obsessed with Qui-Gon Jinn, and that's as far as I got. And then he died, but my dad always turned it off before I got to the part where he got cut in half. And then when I was like, I had to have been 7-ish, because my little brother wasn't born yet, and I saw that he died, and I got upset, and I never watched the rest. So then, as an adult, I think right before the new series started coming out, I watched them in this order. I watched Episode 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Because then it's like watching Vader's life in flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it was very interesting for me.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody watch in that order, but that's interesting.
Well, I didn't like Episode 4, so I was like, okay, I'm going to try the prequels. I enjoyed the prequels, so I was like,
that's
all
right,
I'm
you
go
did.
Into 5 and
that's
6.
right,
it's
you did.
Almost machete in the Star Wars fandom. We call that machete order, where you do 4, 5, and then machete order technically is 4, 5. You skip Phantom Menace. You do 2, 3, and then 6.
Is that a thing you're supposed to do?
So, okay. This is great because I had 2 friends that had not seen any of the Star Wars movies. And so I find out and I'm like, the 3 of us are sitting down and we're watching them together, one by one by one. And so what I did with them is I did 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, and then the sequel trilogy. Because I think Phantom Menace, like, okay, I have complicated feelings about the prequels. I do love them in a way, but like,
you don't have to.
Well, I'm not going to go off about this on this pod, but I do.
Next one, you're right.
Whatever,
you're right.
Yeah.
Gateway Star Wars.
Gateway Star Wars.
Gateway Star Wars. Yeah, the spin-off series. So, but like it, I think one has like context you need in a really big way, and mostly that's because my take on the prequel trilogy is that it's kind of, if you watch it through the lens of Obi-Wan, then I think that you need one because there's so much character development for Obi-Wan in Phantom Menace. I don't think you should skip it.
That's what I liked. I liked Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan together. I thought that they were a really good little duo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're great. Qui-Gon was an amazing master.
I loved Qui-Gon Jinn. He's the ultimate good guy.
Okay.
And I like the ultimate good guy.
He's like the beginning of a Grey Jedi. But I like that. You know I like the Grey Jedi.
Talk crap about my half-boy. Okay?
I don't.
He
doesn't.
You can't say that.
He doesn't get cut in half, by the way. He just gets stabbed.
He gets stabbed. Maul gets cut in half.
In my heart, he got cut in half. Oh, Maul gets cut in half.
Maul gets cut in half.
Maul gets.
Maul is your
half. You kept saying
boy.
that. That was like You really
I seriously
stopped.
thought he got cut in half. Like, for real. For my entire life, I thought that Qui-Gon got cut in half until this.
No.
Half boy, half
Oh
my
robot,
gosh.
all rad. Yeah.
See,
Oh,
and
that's why he has the spider body at the end of Solo, right?
And yeah, so
Okay, that
Solo
makes sense.
made the cartoons canon because Darth Maul's in the cartoons a lot, and he's awesome. He's got an amazing storyline, which I was always sad we didn't get to see more of in the movies because he was such a cool bad guy, and then he dies off so fast. So
Well, I
like,
hate him,
man.
so I'm glad he died.
Well,
Because he
Oh,
killed
man,
your.
you'll
'cause he
hate him
killed your
more.
half boy.
he killed the
you'll
half
you'll
boy.
Yeah.
you'll hate him more, but
Good boy,
in
a
the
bad boy,
cartoons
a
you
good
even
bad
get
boy,
to
a
see.
half good bad boy, or half
Lauren,
good,
stop.
half bad good boy.
Lauren, sip your tea. Anyway, you get to see Qui-Gon again in the cartoons. You get to see Darth Maul again in the cartoons. It's amazing. I even think I talk about it, the in-between. Oh, yeah, it's in this episode. I talk about the in-between,
Oops.
which is where we see Qui-Gon again in the cartoons. And, you know, I was really rooting for the in-between to come in and Rise of Skywalker, but we didn't get quite there. But, so that's why a lot of Star Wars nerds lost their mind in Solo, because it made the cartoons canon when Darth Maul appears at the end with the spider legs, and you're like,
Solo.
it's all real!
Solo was probably my favorite Star Wars movie. It was the most fun to watch.
It's a great Star Wars movie.
I am
It is
glad
so good.
to find people that also are Solo appreciators, because I think that movie is so overrated. I like that movie a lot.
It's fun!
So good.
Like, you're never gonna have a young Harrison Ford again, but I think that actor really got the vibe of Han Solo down, and it was really fun to watch how him and Chewie met. Why is Han so against joining the Rebels, and why is he so against, you know, the Empire too? Like, you just watch this poor kid get just handed the worst cards in life and just try and make it through. How did he become a smile? You get all of that, and it's such a fun ride, and you learn about, like, who shot first, and you see that's kind of like his classic thing now.
That's the only thing I knew.
Solo,
like, literally the only thing
Solo
I knew,
is
and I
so
like
good.
punched Dana because I watched it with her. I was like, "Look, he shot first," and she was like, "Okay." I was like, "I know that though," and it was great.
Han always
I
shoots
think
first.
the reason I love that movie is, and why I watch it so often, is like the same reason that Star Wars Visions is sort of the thing that I'm obsessed with in Star Wars right now, and that's because like it's one of the things that understands the genre influence of Star Wars, but it takes it in the way that like Star Wars doesn't often go. So like throughout, I know Bridget did a lot of like film history stuff last episode, but like the sort of codependent relationship in film history of the samurai film and the Western, that like these two genres are coming up at the same time and they are inspiring each other, and like samurai movies are borrowing stuff from the American Western, and American Westerns are borrowing stuff from the Japanese samurai film. And so like we don't often get Western Star Wars, and it's so tied into all of the sort of like Japanese samurai influences in Star Wars that Solo doesn't go full Western. I feel like it could have gone more that way, but it's just so cool. I love when Star Wars embraces genre, and I wish it would do it more. And Visions is kind of, I want to like point to Visions and go like, Lucasfilm, do this in the movie, do this in the movies, do this, because like
if this was the movies, I would it would be my everything.
Yeah,
like straight up.
I think the only time we've ever seen Western, I think, was the other lowest rated Star Wars movie is Phantom Menace, when they're there on a desert country and these poor people and they're running the town. There's like, they're having to be indentured servants. They're racing to get freedom. And I mean, I know it's a little more goofy, but it's more Western. And then they, you know, people are kidnapped. They go out.
Know that was the lowest
kind of
rated
like
Star Wars
True
movie.
Grit style.
And now
out
I'm
there.
sad.
So yeah. Phantom Menace and Solo. I guess Rise of Skywalker is the other one.
they're like no, I disagree.
They are not the worst.
No.
They are critics Critics don't like
Well,
it, but
my
fandom
least favorite
fights over it.
is
But
everyone's
they're good
favorite,
movies.
which is Rogue One. I did not like Rogue One at all, which everyone is mad about.
I enjoyed
all
Rogue
the
One,
time, but I hated it and I felt bad.
my favorites.
Yeah.
A
Bridget
little
and I
more
are sort of.
controversial.
I don't know
what
if
I'd
we
throw
should
in.
even say it on the pod, unless you want to. Look, I'll
Fight.
declare it loudly, but.
Fight.
Episode
Fight.
3.
Oh,
It's episode 3.
oh,
It's
see,
great. Revenge
I
of the
have
Sith
the
is-
more controversial pick.
Last
Yeah.
Jedi
I'm a
is my second.
Last Jedi
favorite.
I'm a Last
Also
Jedi
but Revenge of
stan.
the Sith-
I am a Last Jedi obsessive. I am a Last Jedi defender to the death. I have had like 3-hour-long arguments with people about the Last Jedi. I think it is like a not even a quiet mess. I just think it like totally gets it in a way that like
That's the
It's so
second
good.
sequel
of the new trilogy.
Mhm. Second sequel
Okay.
trilogy movie. I am wearing the
It's the
people
one
that
Ryan
watch
Johnson
the
did,
VOD
and it's
will
just-
see that I'm wearing my "Be Nicer to Kelly Marie Tran, You Jags" shirt. Shout out Superyaki.
Shout out to
but-
Super Yaki. I have their sweater that says the prequels ... and on the back it says "We're good" in like all caps and Star Wars lettering.
Very nice.
So, and I'm wearing my Anakin Episode 3 Darth Vader shirt that I was supposed to wear to go meet Hayden Christensen when he was coming to San Antonio,
We're all
and I was
bitter
supposed to
about it.
meet.
That's okay.
I was supposed to meet Ewan, and now Lauren is going to go live my 7th grade dream, and I'm really upset about it.
Can I
I bought it because of you.
can I
And I'm very excited.
can I tell? I know we are so far off the track right now, but
Whatever.
Can I-
We're having a good time.
I'm a tangential conversationalist. So
Me
can
too.
I tell a quick Ewan McGregor story on mic?
Absolutely.
We
that,
would love
like,
that. Please.
We stand Ewan.
So
We love
Ewan is one of my in my history with movies, one of the people that once got the treasured honor in Hunter's heart of being declared my favorite actor. And lives up on the top shelf, right? He's he still lives up there. But hello there,
Did you
Ewan.
hear Ewan?
Ewan,
I didn't have my phone on silent.
have you
That's my
manifested
text alert.
Ewan?
And so Michael just texted me, and so my phone went, "Hello there."
You manifested Ewan in the studio just for me.
That's really impressive.
It's so kind.
Oh no.
Ewan.
Phone is now silenced.
So I, because of Star Wars, and especially because of Moulin Rouge, I wrote Ewan McGregor some fan mail, and I just gushed. I don't remember. I must have been in 4th grade. Like I was 4th or 5th grade. Gushed to him in fan mail about how much I loved him, how much of an inspiration he was to me. All of this. Months go by.
So precious.
I come home from school, and my mom is standing in the living room, and she's holding a manila envelope, and she goes, "Hunter, come here." And I was like, "Oh God, am I in trouble?" And I walk in, and we stand in the office. So there's like the living room, and the office is off to the left. And she she sends my brothers downstairs, and she pulls out a signed picture of Ewan McGregor.
Stop it.
No letter attached. It was just a manila envelope. He had signed a picture and sent it back to me. She did not know who this man was. And so she pulls out this picture, and she goes, "Hunter, who is this?" And I was like, "Mom, you love Moulin Rouge. That's Ewan McGregor." You can imagine like little 4th or 5th grade me being like, "Mom." And she was like, "I don't know who this is." And I was like, and she goes, "Who have you been writing and asking for their picture?" Apparently, my parents thought that I was soliciting men via post, and that they were sending signed pictures of themselves to me, random, not prominent people.
You were like a 5th grader seeking out pedophiles.
Apparently.
Is that their thought?
All my friends got pedophiles. I want one.
Yeah.
Oh my
I need a 5th grade sugar daddy.
Oh my god.
Literal
Don't we all?
sugar. But I don't know where that picture went. I was not allowed to keep that picture.
Oh no!
Look,
Well, I'm getting a picture of me and Hayden Christensen that I'm going to have signed to Bridget because I'm going to Emerald City Comic Con. So do you want me to do that with you and Ewan McGregor? Because I can do that for you. But I will be in the picture.
I will be in the picture.
I was like almost. I know you're not gonna have much time with Ewan, and we are like just sort of becoming friends.
Do you want me to ask him that?
He
Be
won't
like,
remember.
My friend Hunter wrote
He
you
won't
some
remember.
fan mail when he was like in 4th
But you
grade.
have full permission to
Oh my
tell him that
gosh.
story if you have time with him.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a headshot of him, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, will you please sign this as my 4th grade sugar daddy? That's what I need from you." And I will see what I can do for you.
If he does that,
Oh,
it will be the
no.
most treasured thing in my collection. I won't tell this story, not this time. This will, so we don't get too far off track. But I do have a signed box of Babinka. It was signed by Rob Schneider, and that's the most random thing I own. And I'm not going to tell that story. I'm going to let listeners just sort of either contact me about that, or next time I'm here, if there is a next time, I'll tell you.
We'll drop your Twitter handle right below here so
What's up with
they'll
the
tweet at you.
Babinka?
Yeah, these Babinka cards.
Oh, God.
I had a dress that I was going to wear to meet Hayden Christensen that in Star Wars font said "Best Wife in the Galaxy" because I was going to shoot my shot. And also because Ryan was like, "You're not going to wear that to meet him." And I was like,
Don't
bet.
You want me to wear it,
Don't
baby?
come at us like that. Don't come at people like us like people like us like that because we'll do that shit. Yeah.
I'll do it. Like, Lauren's like, "Don't dance with the rhino at the zoo." And I'm like, "Oh, they're playing Gangnam Style,
Okay,
though." And
the
then,
only reason that I get upset when you dance with the rhino at the zoo is because then I have to dance with the rhino at the zoo, and I don't want to, but I can't not do it.
So
When the
I,
rhino
like-
comes up to me, I gotta go.
I got Lauren swarmed by the zoo mascot and the handler.
I'm so mad about
Because
it still.
they were playing Gangnam Style, and I looked at Lauren, and she's like, "No, let's just go. We're leaving." And I was like, "Oh, up of Gangnam Style," and then started dancing, and like went to town. And the DJ was like, "Yeah!" I just felt really bad because like nobody was dancing. You could tell everybody was like hating their life
my
because
God.
they're mandatory having to do. So I just went to town. And they're like, "Yeah, yeah," and I pointed at Lauren, and they're like, "Yeah, this girl wants to dance," and like
Lauren, I'm
swarmed
so
Lauren, and
sorry.
she's like, "I will kill
Yeah.
you. I will kill you."
I did
Meanwhile,
this.
her husband is
I did
oblivious
this.
and is just walking.
He
to
walked
go.
away. He was looking for chicken on
You
a
got
stick,
left.
and he just. You know,
just
you know
kept
Will,
going.
right? Will Weaver.
I
You know
think
him.
so. Maybe.
Yeah, that's my husband. He's the worst.
He worked at Park North, I think, when you were there. For
He
Maybe.
did. He did.
I was also gone for a little bit and then came back, so and who knows. Anyways,
Anyway,
TOB1.
This has been
TOB1.
fun. Should we talk
should
about?
talk about Star
yeah,
Wars.
let's do that.
So, the depressing Jedi quote. That's where we left off.
Oh, cool! Because I had no idea where we left off. I'm glad.
Thank you,
did.
Bridget.
That was our tangent. You're welcome. You're welcome. So Toby's like feeling called out to, and basically the professor's like, "Hey, I'm gonna make this little game for you. There's the Kyber crystal somewhere on this planet. You better find it." And so, I mean, if you've ever babysat or a parent, like, I get that. Like, you're like, "Oh, there's somewhere hidden." Or have you played hide and seek with, like, your little sibling and you don't seek,
Yeah.
you just let them hide for too long?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Daniel. So it's
I'm not
basically
sorry,
what the
Ian.
professor does. And so, they talk about, like, the Force is present in all things, which is one of my favorite things. We talked a lot about that last episode when we were talking about Kyber crystals and the Force and how all that works. My favorite little Star Wars quote that they put in here, "You got a bad feeling about this." Yeah, I love to write down every time.
I would like to say I'm really surprised that they're sticking with that, like, for every episode.
Every episode.
Because it came up in. Does it come up in the duel?
No, the duel's like the only one that doesn't use quotes.
Okay.
The twins used every Star
They don't
Wars
talk a
quote
lot.
in the book.
Because, like, I remember watching. I think it was the Twins. Twins is episode 2, yeah. It was the
Yes.
it was
3.
whatever
3.
episode 2. I don't
episode
remember.
3.
Anyways, point is, it got dropped, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute." They're clearly big Star Wars fans. And then
2
it
is Tatooine
kept-
Rhapsody.
That's right. And then it kept happening, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, the synergy I don't know. I wonder if that was in their list of like demands. If they were like, make sure you play, if they had like studio notes or something that were like, try and work these things in.
I felt almost like, though, that these were just a bunch of nerds that, like, were just like, I get to make a Star Wars short, and they just threw in their favorite, like, classic lines. Because I know I totally would put in Punch It, because I love yelling that anytime I'm, like, driving or doing a spaceship. Like, I was really annoying at Galaxy's Edge when we did Smuggler's Run. I was like, Punch It!
Yeah.
So.
Well, something we've learned from going through all of this, too, is a lot of these studios have people in common. Like, they're all branches of the same main studios, so they probably all worked together through this to kind of, since it's, you know, it's a anthology, so they had to do like a theme probably to keep it a little bit together. So I'm sure that there was communication between all the studios to be like, hey, well, we're doing this, don't do this,
and that
do
was
this.
Well, that was one of the things that I was really interested in, and I didn't do much research on it, but like was really, when I was listening to y'all's last episode, like was really interested that you were bringing up, Lauren, was like all of this stuff about all the studios. But I tried really hard to go like, this interests me. Like what else have they worked on, and you know, all of that. So like, because there was, you know, like I said, I've seen like pieces of other anime, and I'm sure like you as somebody who loves anime, like going like, oh, Studio Trigger worked on this, like here's where I see the similarities, you know? But
I was so excited about Trigger. I still am. Trigger's amazing.
Huge.
Everyone go watch everything they ever did. Facts.
So and like I know what this is. What Science Saru is that?
This is Science Saru, and actually, I'll give you a little bit about it while we're here, shall I? So it was founded in 2013. And I'm going to destroy these names, so buckle in, everybody. It was founded by Masaki Yusasa and, oh god, Inyoung Chao, okay?
Doing great.
You're doing great. Actually translates into Science Monkey. And it's because Yusasa, who, like, was the founder of the company, he does, like, all these little doodles and everything, and he actually is, like, one of the lead production designers for all of their, like, animes and stuff. But he used to draw himself as a monkey all the time, and he wanted his company to be smarter than that monkey. So that's why he added science to the front of it. So it's intelligent, but also instinctual. So it's Science Monkey.
Interesting.
And that's why they named it Science Sasra. But this is awesome because this, like, really, it's so different from the other things that they've done, because actually, like, their main thing that Science Sasra has done is Devil May Cry Baby.
Oh!
Which is, like, one of my favorite animes ever. Bridget's not excited about having to watch it in the future. But it's
both Michael and Ryan told me they stopped watching it. They couldn't finish it.
Well, I have bigger balls, I guess. I don't know. It's good.
Shot
it's really
taken.
Good. They're great.
Shot taken.
Get through it. It's worth watching.
Lord, for you trying to make new friends with them.
Well, they don't like me anyway, so here we are.
They do like you. Oh my gosh. I told Ryan you thought that, and he was like, what? Did I do something? Sweet child.
This is not a mash on you, it's a mash on the people who hate Devil May Cry Baby because it's great.
Now look what you've done.
Well,
Anyway.
I've spoken to Ryan like 3 times, and I love him so much, but I don't know how to express it anymore without being weird. So I'm not...
Be weird, that's how we became friends.
Weird, and then it got awkward, and I'm like, oh, fudge, I can't turn off this need to be your friend, so I'm going to leave forever.
Making friends...
Lauren, no! How we became friends is hard!
In your 20s and 30s, be like that. And I'm sure it gets worse.
But, okay.
Anyways.
See,
but...
Ryan and I became friends because I was running away from crickets, and I was like, hi, I'm sitting next to you now. And just, like, moved in next to his desk, and then from then on became friends. And we mutually hated someone, so...
Anyways, my point was, I think it's interesting how all of these shorts sort of share, like, a lot of DNA, at least, like, ideologically, and then also, like, the way they play with Star Wars tropes, they play with them in a lot of the same ways, even though they could not be more stylistically different. Like, but your point about I've got a bad feeling about this made me think of that.
Oh, they also did, hold on, one more thing. They did an episode of Adventure Time, and I just need everyone to know that. It was the food chain episode of Adventure Time. One? It's like in season 8. It's all about...
I don't know if I got
adorable, that far. And I literally cried when I saw it. Like, I was doing research and went, it was so bad. I have an Adventure Time tattoo. I love Adventure Time. It's just a thing. So, I'm done. That's all I have for that. The end.
Okay. So after that, Toby's running around looking for a kyber crystal, and they find this ship. It looks like it looks like Kylo Ren's ship. The little, I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like a triangle little thing. It's not a TIE fighter, but I don't know its name. I drew it. It's not helpful that I just drew this like little. It's like maybe a centimeter big.
Let's see it.
Okay,
that's it. That's my ship.
Teeny tiny, Bridget. Oh my god.
I was trying to remember what it was. And so it like basically plays a hologram that makes a call to all Jedi, and I was like, this is really Order 66 feeling. And this last episode we had that too. And then let's see, the Star Destroyer hears it, and we find out the Professor is a Jedi. So he's going to fight. He's like making Toby be safe, and he's going to fight these people. And he says a great line from Rogue One: "I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me," which is like that. Donnie Yen is like my favorite character in Rogue One. Just beautiful.
Who?
Donnie Yen. He was the blind man in Rogue One who had the staff and was like protecting
I feel so bad
kyber
that
crystals.
I don't remember his name. His buddy's name is Baze Malbus. His name is, and you know what? I'm going to sit here and think about it. And in the middle of Bridget's sentence, I'm going to go, it's going to come to me.
That's exactly. He was Ip Man, which I learned is not IP Man. I made that mistake at Draft House hosting one time.
I am IP Man, which as it turns out was the working title for Free Guy.
Yeah. What? What's it? I was like, what? Yeah. So I hosted.
Thank you. I got a joke in. Thank you.
I hosted Ip Man and said IP Man, and Max in the front row went, "Oh no!" And just like said, "Oh no!" And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Ip Man, Ip Man." And I was like, "Cool." Anyway, so he leaves Toby with the lightsaber. The professor is killed. Everything's destroyed. It's really sad. The professor's grave grows grass, and it finally starts to rain, which I think is a big Force thing. You know, life goes on. It's a circle of life. It's basically what the Force is. And then a Force ghost tells him to use the Force, very Obi-Wan-like. And the kyber crystal was in Toby the whole time. Toby was created to protect it. And so he's got to fight the Sith Lord. It's a big deal. But basically, we see the professor in the in-between, which is really cool because we only see that in like Star Wars Rebels. Mm-hmm. It's like a lot of Force-sensitive people, if they're still needing to get work done before they pass on and become one with the Force, they're in the in-between, which is really, I really wanted Kylo Ren to be in the in-between, and he'd come back. I'm really frustrated by this. Like, he should have lived.
This is a thing.
But
this is a thing that I just exists in the Star Wars fandom, where they like bite their lip and they're like, "This should have happened this way because canon." And I no comment.
This is why I chose Lord of the Rings. It's perfect. Nothing ever needs to change. That's just how it
is. It's debatable. But okay. I will fight.
No, calm down.
Samwise Gamgee is really annoying at times. I will say it. Anyway, so next...
He is the best character. Oh my god, I will fight you.
I know.
I will fight you. I will fight you. We can't do this here.
I was like, is there a mute button or not? Okay, so Toby's dubbed a Jedi, and Toby loses an arm. So I'm like, oh, look, you're a real Jedi now. You lost an appendage.
Okay. I didn't realize that the professor didn't have arms. For, like,
I didn't either.
Bit
of
this.
The professor doesn't have arms?
I didn't realize
he doesn't. He's
he doesn't
armless.
Have arms. The Sith Lord says you serve a man with no arms.
I really thought he was like standing with his arms behind his back all episode. Like that's what I kept imagining was happening.
I did too. But I watched it in Japanese, so I forgive myself for that because I was reading. But like,
I am finding this out right now.
That's the whole concept. The whole concept is that he's a droid
That's why
that was
a
built
robot.
right. TOB1 helps him. That's what that's what he's there for.
Okay, well,
I'm so sorry.
that-
I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna scratch out all my notes because I didn't even notice the main character didn't even have arms. So anyway, Toby's like, I'm gonna continue research, help planets. That's what Jedi do. Happy ending, okay, yay. Kyle Chandler plays the professor. That's the only voice actor I have written down for this one. But I was like, look, he still gives an inspiring coach speech at the end, and apparently doesn't have.
I've got some Japanese voice actors.
What? All right,
well, I have one Japanese voice actor. No, I have two. I lied. Okay, so Toby is played by Misako Nizawa. Look how well I did that one.
So
I'm so proud of myself. And thank you. He plays Gohan in Dragon Ball Z. So
I know Gohan.
We gotta love him. Yeah, it was dope. Look, here we are making an anime fan out of you.
What?
And then the professor.
I'm a Trunks
I respect that because
I thought you
Krillin
said
is my
I
favorite.
thought you said Trump boy at first. I was like, no, you're not.
That.
No, you're not. I know you.
No.
Trunks
No one is a Trump boy
2024.
here. I would wear that shirt. I
who
would
is
wear
Trunks?
that shirt in a heartbeat.
Trunks has like purple hair and he has
Trunks
swords.
is the son
He's
of.
very cool.
He's Vegeta's son, right?
I'm not.
Trunks, or is he Android 18 and Krillin?
Still
No,
have
he's
questions
Vegeta's
about
son.
how they had a kid.
Trunks is the son of Vegeta,
He has-
who All Might does the voice of Vegeta, so be happy. Well, she becomes a human. That's the whole thing. Like they give her like the Dragon Balls. Once you collect all of them, you get
So
a wish,
she
and
wished
that's
for
why
a
everyone
uterus?
Collects the Dragon Balls. Well, no, they wished for her to be
have a
real and
uterus.
to be alive. and
Essentially, that's what
shut
she
up.
wished for.
Anyway,
I got lost. I got lost real quick.
The professor is played by Sotama Ozavi, and he plays George Joestar in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood. He is the father of all of the Joestars. It is great. We are excited.
Love that.
And the Dragon Balls just give you wishes. That's why you collect all the
we just
Dragon
threw
Balls.
back to
That's
Dragon
the
Ball
point
real
of the
fast.
show. Yes, I needed that to be clear. That's
I
how everyone
actually
just comes
didn't
back
know
to
that
life
about
all
the
time,
Dragon Balls.
because she
I
collects
never
the
knew
Dragon
why they
Balls.
collected them.
She just Columboed about Dragon Ball.
Yeah, you collect them too.
And one more thing.
And one more thing. That's great.
We're gonna go on 5 Star Wars tangents through this whole thing. I
Yeah,
gotta throw
sure.
my anime in at
You know,
points. That's all I have for this. I did really like this episode.
it's cute.
I love that his heart is essentially the Kyber crystal. Like he's the Tin Man.
Yes. So,
just really
I was gonna say,
sweet.
like, the thing I love about this short, and like, I think all of the shorts, even the ones that I feel sort of ambivalent to, really get at something in Star Wars, and this is so good at like talking about what a Jedi is and like what is important about a Jedi. And the question in Star Wars has always sort of been like, you know, there are people that have like the conversation that I think is not boring, but like they're trying to be edgy, which is like, oh, so droids are basically slaves. But like there's a thing in Star Wars where I think the humanity of a droid is constantly sort of invoked in a way. Like every installment tries to find new humanity or an interesting angle in humanity for droids. And one,
and they do, I think. I think that they're really good at doing
and this
that.
short especially is so good. Like I said, it's sort of got the Pinocchio thing going on, where Toby wants so bad to be a Jedi, and it's not that he can't be a Jedi because he's a droid. He like eventually does essentially become a Jedi at the end of the short. And so one, go ahead, Bridget.
If General Grievous can be a Sith Lord, then absolutely Toby can be a Jedi, because General Grievous only had like one part.
He has like
human,
a heart,
and we don't know that Toby. Yeah, his lungs. I think, because he had a cough. Yeah, he had COVID before it was COVID.
Keep any part of your body.
Here's a good question: if you had to be if you got Grievous, what's the one organ you'd want to keep?
That's what organ would I want? Skin. I just want my skin to be like stretched
Everything else is robot. Yeah.
Skin is
Your skin's
stretched
an
out
organ.
over it, like
I'm just
Terminator.
thinking about Doctor
Moisturize
Who, The Last
me.
Human. Just moisturize me. Yes.
I was thinking more Terminator, but thank you for that one.
Oh,
You know.
you're welcome.
But Giant Courtney Terminator. Sorry.
No comment. I was going to say brain, but then I realized, like, why would I want my brain to be organic when, like, I could have a droid brain and I could have unlimited knowledge?
My brain's sad. Well, I don't want mine.
But I feel like your human brain gives you the ability to have more human emotions,
which is where I went. So, like, maybe I will still do brain. I just have, like, such a sad, forgetful brain that I get angry at my brain very often.
Same. So I don't want it no more.
That.
It's fine.
I'm gonna say brain.
I might keep my eyes. I like my eyes.
Oh, eyes is good.
Just robot to human eyes.
Yeah.
Don't Three Stooge me.
Well,
you
I'm
might
blind,
get me.
so I don't want mine. I want some new eyes. I want some lasers. I want to like boop everyone. Just boop boop. That's my dream. Yeah. Oh, Hunter, I forgot to ask at the beginning of this. Which one of these episodes is your favorite?
All of them, or of what we're covering today? Okay.
All of them together.
That's a really good.
Series.
That's a really good question, because I was really thinking about this ahead of time, and I think my favorite is the duel. I love the Ninth Jedi because of how much lore it has within it. Like it introduces some things to Star Wars lore that I wish
might get a series.
Yeah, I heard that. It introduces things to Star Wars lore that I wish were canon. Like where there are just all of that. I really love how lore heavy that is, and the characters are really cool, and just that twist of like all of the other Jedi igniting their lightsabers and then being red because they're connected to the Sith. It's such a brilliant moment. But I think the duel is exactly what I want from Star. It's either the duel or episode 9, because both of those are the most Kurosawa heavy episodes, and both of them have such a cool like stylistic tie to like they're a little rough around the edges. To me, Star Wars is messy. I don't like when Star Wars is like clean and smooth. And so those two episodes kind of embrace the things I like about Star Wars most. There you go.
I like that.
And we'll get into that.
I also agree with a lot of that.
Cool.
All right. The next.
Oh yeah, I got so much to say.
The next episode we go to is The Elder.
Yeah.
So there's only like 3 voice actors that I put down for here. Jordan Fisher is Dan, which
My
I was
boy.
like, what a
I'm
weird name.
obsessed with him.
It's a very Ethan.
Yeah, that's the
Love him.
Ethan moment. Dan.
David Harbour is
Tajin, I think, or something like that.
Tajin. I don't know. And then James Hong is the old man, and that is Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China. So I was like,
James
what a
Hong, the legend.
Let me
yes.
Let me throw mine out because they're pretty good too. So, and I only wrote down 3 as well. So the Crosser, the Master, he is Takaya Hashi, and he's Giselle from That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, which if you haven't watched
title
it,
of
trash, watch
Oh
it.
my
It's great.
gosh!
Well, like
Yes. I can't explain how good
Another-
You just like
y'all.
one
love-
sentence. I was like, what?
anime with complicated titles. I'll do you one better. An even more complicated title is, and I hope I get this correct, is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon?
Girls in a Dungeon, you are correct.
An anime that I like a lot.
Good
Yeah,
anime.
I like that anime.
It sounds like
good.
a D&D session.
There's
It's
so many.
it's D&D.
It
it's
is.
a D&D anime.
It literally
And
is.
the characters.
Yeah, so is That Time I Got
Oh my
Reincarnated
god!
as a Slime.
The characters
essentially.
in Is It
Yeah,
Wrong
it's so good.
have their stats like tattooed onto their back. They have their character sheet on their back.
And
That's so cool.
in Slime, the slime actually has like a little like power decks that it goes to and explains how they're doing the things they're doing.
I
and
love
it's
that.
really dope.
That makes me
It's
excited
great.
for Critical
But-
Role's like animation show coming up.
Yes, agreed. But he also plays Katsuku in Naruto, and then Dan is played by Yuchi. This is the best one, Yuchi Nakamura, and he plays Hawks in My Hero Academia, Satoru Gojo in Jujutsu Kaisen, and Greed in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Endeavor.
And then the Elder is
sorry.
he's always thinking of him, Bridget. Always.
My favorite Hawks line.
The Elder is played by Kenichi Ogata, and he plays Gran Torino. So that's it.
Oh my gosh.
Those are all the voice actors I had because no one else was important enough to write.
I'm just really glad I got to say my favorite Hawks line again. Endeavor.
I will always let you say
thinking
that
of
one.
me?
Just wait till you meet Gojo, because you're gonna have so many for him.
I mean,
I hope you roll Jujutsu Kaisen first. I really do.
I don't know what I'm gonna roll. Obviously. All right, so
definitely a great.
I hope not. All right, the Elder. So it takes place. A Master Jedi and a Padawan are visiting the Outer Rim. I sense a disturbance in the Force. It's a lovely quote. And then I sense a darkness, something ancient and sinister. And I was like, wow, we're just throwing these quotes right off the bat here. Classic Star Wars quotes talking about Sith, disturbances in the Force. You know, most Jedi say that at some point in a movie. It's been thousands of years since the Sith has been destroyed. Let's see. A Jedi doesn't first seek out conflict. Like, basically, we're sitting in a ship in the first part of the episode getting classic Jedi mentor lessons.
This was the section of the episode that I was like, this is the kind of I love both in Star Wars and in anime, is like character stuff. This is the stuff I love in Cowboy Bebop. I love like the bookends of those episodes where they're like on the Bebop, like talking about things, and we get like tastes of who they are. Like, I like the slice of life stuff, and
it's great. It reminds me of like Anakin and Obi-Wan's little jabs and kind of things, and like
little doses of like philosophy.
When he jumps out of a ship and he's like, I hate it when he does that, or like, I had to find the right one. It's just like, oh yeah, that's right, they're human. That they still have lives. So Jedi must find balance and stillness. Like, I would be an absolute horrible Jedi. Like, you're constantly having to keep peace, yes, which is fine, but it's like balancing your soul, your temper, and everybody else's. And I'm like, I would just end up like with my hilt of my lightsaber at one point, like bonking someone and being like, could you cut it out? So not a great Jedi for me. In old movies, the Outer Rim was kind of like outlaw territory, so this is kind of a different like little take on it. Like in the prequels when they talk about the Outer Rim, it's like Tatooine times like 20. Like, it's rough around the edges. The law doesn't really get enforced there. There's not really senators representing them. There's a lot of slavery, and so they're mad at the government because they're not doing anything for them. And like the only time we hear someone being really critical of it is like Obi-Wan and Padme.
You get these cool moments in canon Star Wars of like the Outer Rim, I mean, literally being the Wild West.
Yeah.
And it's like the Mandalorian kind of thrives in the Outer Rim.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it gives you a chance to like visit these little pockets of the Star Wars universe and go like, oh, here's like a new kind of government, or like a new interesting sort of situation to drop yourself into. That
like the Kurosawa episode of Mandalorian, when we first meet Ahsoka live action. Yeah. It's very outlaw, run by its own government kind of thing, and Outer Rim.
Townships, and it's like feudalism and all that stuff. Yeah.
So they land on the Shy planet. So everybody there is super to themselves. The kids make friends with Dan. It's really cute. And I just felt like a real Jordan Fisher moment too. Like, some Shy kid comes up to Jordan Fisher and he's like winks at him, and I'm like, oh, what a cute moment. But basically, this old man came and visited and goes in the mountains by himself. And that's where they're getting the disturbance. And they're like, oh, do you think maybe it's a Sith? I don't know. Then they see the Sith ship, that was harder to say, that the Elder came in on. And then we get our favorite line, I've got a bad feeling about this. And I was like, There it is. So an old Sith Lord, but doesn't agree with what the Sith tried to keep one-upping each other, which is classic Sith thing. They all want power. They're all going to kill each other in their sleep. Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? You wouldn't. It's a Sith tale. Anyway, just going to keep quoting all of Episode 3.
I love it. It's good energy.
I thought you were actually asking me a question. I was like, why would you assume that I knew that?
That is a straight quote Palpatine says to Anakin. And he's like, you wouldn't have heard of it. The Jedi don't teach it. It's an old Sith legend. And that's when Anakin's like, tell me more. What do you mean I can evade death? Anyway, it's a long spiraling thing.
I'm in
what
trouble.
Did he say to the god of death?
Not today.
There you go. That's something I can quote. Thank you. Thank you.
So it's an old Sith. I just said that one. The Sith Lord, it's really sad. The Padawan goes and confronts him, and the Padawan gets cut down. I genuinely thought the Padawan died. I was so upset.
Bridget.
I did too.
Bridget, his name is Dan. Have some respect.
Sorry, Dan.
Yeah.
You got a braid. You're just a Padawan to me. Padawan, plebeian, please. That's what I would say. You're just a Padawan. Dan gets cut down, and it's really upsetting. And then, what a, I can't read my own handwriting to save my life. Vamga. Oh, that's
the monsters.
I had to Google what a Vamga. Yeah, they live in the mountains on planet Hasso. So that's the planet we're on.
Because I had never heard of them before.
Yeah. Now they are. They're not canon, but they're on Wikipedia now. So counts. Count it.
All right.
I told Lauren about Wikipedia for Star Wars.
Oh, you didn't know about Wikipedia? Oh, it's great. Yeah.
No. It sounds like a dirty.
Oh, that's not at all where my mind goes.
If you didn't know what a Wookiee was, it sounds naughty.
That's a. Lauren,
I guess I've known what a Wookiee is for all of my life.
It's the first time I'm going to tell you that's strange as hell. That you'd be like, Wikipedia sounds nasty.
Okay, it sounds like Whoopi.
Oh, I guess. I can understand that.
I didn't play the.
Haven't you heard?
I didn't play The Sims a lot,
Whoopi?
so.
Well, I didn't either, but I like old music, and that's a song.
That's true.
Well, anyway,
and it sounds naughty. I'm sorry.
So
I call it like I see it.
To each their own.
Okay.
So they see that he killed a Vamga, and it's really sad because normally the Vamga aren't so horrible. They're kind of peaceful. The whole planet's just like a quiet planet. And so now the Master and this old Sith Lord are gonna fight, and it's given me a lot of Maul, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn kind of vibes. This whole episode did. Sorry, Lauren. And then there's the classic stab through with the lightsaber when you ignite it, and when it ignites, it goes through a person, which we see in the Last Jedi throne room fight scene when Kylo holds it right here, hits it, goes through the head, and then pulls it back. And I'm like, that was hot.
You are
so
correct.
Maybe not as hot in this moment, but it was really cool.
No, it's still hot. Old man.
So
hot. That's fine.
then the Sith Lord turns to ash and destroys his ship, and the Padawan lives. I'm so happy. And there's the quote of why the Jedi do what they do, and it's kind of I don't know. I go back and forth on Jedi Order because I really like Grey Jedi. The in between of the Sith are really wrong, but the Jedi get a lot of things wrong too. And so there's the line of with power you can protect those without it, but like everything, it is impermanent, which I love because it's things do come to an end. Know that you're never going to be the all-powerful one. Once you accept that, then you're going to be good at what you do because you know of the impermanence of life and
that
power.
Was the thing I got. So I said earlier, I think every episode sort of has these little this spice of Star Wars that they really do really well. And I think this episode, the thing I wrote down was power dynamics. The way that it describes the power dynamics of being a Jedi, that this idea that I think Star Wars really should learn more from, that the old ways die and new power comes, and that is not a bad thing, that is something to be embraced and leaned into. Kill it if you have to.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
I would like to say, if I can jump in, if I remember correctly, the Elder catches the lightsaber blade with Force lightning.
Oh yeah,
he catches
Padawan
it with Force lightning, which is
yes.
I've never. That's there are moments in Star Wars history where I'm like, I've never seen that before. And it, like, things done with the Force or whatever. And that was, what a cool idea.
I definitely want more Force lightning stuff. Like, it is such a mysterious thing, and they always say only like Sith have it. But then when we saw Rey use it, and it was like they're trying to tell us because it's because of her bloodline. But she's a Jedi. She's good. Her heart is good. So how did she use it? Was it like a thing that you can tap into? Like, I want more about Force lightning. Justice for Mace Windu.
It was such a cool idea. Get inventive with the Force. Like, get more. Show me more. Like. It's the Avatar Korra thing, which please, Star Wars needs to learn from Avatar and Korra, where just keep evolving what can be done with this idea, because
if it goes a little darker, that's okay. If you build on old things, that's cool too. Like, if you introduce new things, because Korra did a lot of new stuff, that's really cool too. Like, come on, we don't have to repeat the same tropes. We don't have to keep using Palpatine.
The Force should evolve and change and take different shape through different people,
just like the evolution of life. If the Force is life itself, but doesn't it evolve too?
I bet I could use Force lightning and catch that blade. And he just tried it and was like, oh yeah, baby. Yeah.
Right? He used it as like a whip. He used it as a whip,
guys,
which is so cool.
What's always evolving? Anime. Anime is always evolving. You know why?
Lauren, please go on an anime rant.
This episode was also made by Trigger. And if y'all remember from the last episode, Trigger also did the twins. They're two completely different styles of animation. And it's super dope because most of Trigger's original animation, you can tell that it's Trigger's animation. It all looks exactly the same. It's very stylized. It's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like this was really different looking than the twins.
And that's because they took a page out of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure book and they did 2-cell animation over a 3D rendering, but it's just such a big flex for the guy. What's the guy's name? Emashi, because he's like, yeah, I made my own studio. I worked on Gurren Lagann and Fooly Cooly, but I also worked at Gainax and I did freaking Royal Space Force and Gunbusters, so I can do anything now. And I'm like, yeah, you can. You're great. Trigger,
yeah, you can.
Trigger's the one to watch out for. If Production IG has anyone to be afraid of. Besides Boom, because Boom will destroy the world.
Trigger's like Kill la Kill, right?
Trigger's gonna destroy everything.
Is Kill la Kill is okay? Yeah,
Kill la Kill is Trigger, and Brand New Animal, Promare, Little Witch Academia.
That sort of puts
all the good stuff.
Because I thought Trigger did. I've not seen Kill la Kill, but I've seen stuff from Kill la Kill. I thought Trigger did the 9th episode of this because that sort of looks like Kill la Kill, but they didn't.
They did not. They did not. Science Sarah did the 9th episode of this, so it's the Devilman Crybaby animation once again in a very different way.
Anyways,
and they're very new, so they're about to blow up too. And they got a lot of flack and acclaim for Devilman Crybaby, so this is just another thing that's going to launch them into space.
Oh, I love learning things. This is so exciting. I'm learning so much about anime today.
Here we go. That's all I had.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I like that. And then...
Welcome.
Go ahead, Bridget.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is another very, I think my favorite episodes of this are, and maybe it's because I'm boring, are just, the ones that are, about people, they're about the duels and between Jedi, because, I was really surprised that all of these episodes are so Jedi-centric. There's not, none of the episodes are not
But not
Jedi.
Skywalker-centric, so that's a nice little change of pace there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was fully expecting, though, there's going to be an episode about bounty hunters. There's going to be an episode where it's and maybe that's, my experience with anime being mostly about, rogues or whatever else. But... my favorite, I would add the Elder to one of my favorite episodes of the podcast of Visions, because it is so explorative of the dynamics between the dark side and the light and the Jedi. They're just really simple, sort of like philosophical samurai film inspired. I really like this episode.
I think the best part of these, for me, particularly this one and the next one, is that they really give you a lot of character. Like they give you a chance to fall in love with the people who are in the episode, which is really hard to do again when you're doing it in like 20 minutes or less. But I think that's kind of where I always had a fault with Star Wars, is a lot of the Jedis are so milquetoast, because they have to be, like, that's their thing. They're at like peace and crap, like they do all the boring,
we didn't even get to like really
weird,
meet a lot of the
stuff.
cool Jedi until you get to
Kit Fisto.
cartoons.
Well,
yeah, I love Kit
regardless-
Fisto.
Kit Fisto!
I love
In
Kit
the
Fisto.
movie.
He swims and uses an
They're all
underwater
very-
Kiadi
lightsaber.
Mundi.
Sorry, Lauren. Sorry,
Excuse
Lauren.
me.
Sorry, Lauren.
Excuse me, everybody.
You are,
I'm
I'm
having
sorry.
a moment. Okay. I think that this gives you a chance to see Jedis as people, and you get to see them in all different times of
Mhm.
Jedi
Yeah.
life. And you get to see how that's affected the way that their philosophy is. And I've enjoyed seeing Jedis as people.
Well, this is-
Maybe I'll give them a
You would-
chance.
This
in
is-
the future.
That's why you would love the cartoons, because that's what they do. Like, we like just ranted about Kit Fisto because you get to see like the coolest fighter of Star Wars in these cartoons. Like, he has an underwater lightsaber. He can breathe underwater, like does martial arts underwater, super cool tentacles, like really cool dude. And he's in the background of like two movies, and that's
I
it.
think
And
this
I'm
is
like,
why I push back on people a lot when they sort of like get upset at New Age Star Wars, at like post Lucas Star Wars, because what I think they're doing really well is humanizing the pulpier elements of Star Wars. And it's why I love The Last Jedi so much, is because it shows that like being a Jedi is not about being like a Roman column. Like that's not. These people are also human and also struggle with these like very human. You don't like become a Jedi when you become a perfect like moral law abiding, whatever, like code abiding warrior. There is a constant journey, and everybody has a new evolving relationship with the Force, and this is like a thing that I think Lucasfilm is actually doing really well, and I wish they would do more and lean into more. That I think, Lauren, you're absolutely right. These episodes totally get this thing that like, oh, everybody has this separate relationship to the Force, and that the masters that we see, especially in Visions, understand like when your time comes, it will look different to you and it will feel different to you, and you should embrace that. I think is a really, really cool way to characterize the Force and evolve the philosophy of the Force in a new way.
that's why I
I guess
loved
that's
Rey
kind
and
of why
Kylo.
there was the downfall of the Jedis, right?
They're so
Because
rigid.
Everyone was
They're
just
so rigid,
like,
yeah.
no, it's gotta be this way. That's the thing, right?
Anakin brought
My
the
bad.
downfall of the Jedi because they wouldn't let him love, and that's all he ever wanted was a family. Like, he didn't get to have a family. His mom died. He didn't get to save her, and then he fell in love with Padme, and that was forbidden, and they're having kids, and then that was a whole thing, and so he spirals trying to figure out how to save love. And Jedi are like, yeah, love's important, but you can't have attachment. Can't have attachment. And what is a life without attachment? Like, it's so lonely and you get crazy. And so, I mean, look at me, I'm single. Anyway,
The point is, everybody, new content is definitely great.
That's
Don't
why
knock it
I
because it's
love
not old. Same thing with anime. Just because it's not old doesn't mean it's not good.
But that's
this
why
is
I
the
love
facts.
the Rey and Kylo stuff in the sequels, because it's exploring Rey, who has nothing, and then kind of pushes back against Luke, because Luke, like, got trained by Obi-Wan and Yoda-ish. There wasn't really much Jedi left, but, like, they already had been like, man, the old ways, whatever. But then Luke starts trying to train on his own. He's like, I gotta stick to these ancient texts. I gotta keep them right. And then Rey comes along and is like, no, man, that's not the world anymore. That was made during, like, this empire that we don't have, and that's not how people live. That's not how we work. There's maybe a reason it fell. There's maybe a reason your dad like destroyed it. And so Rey pushes back on it, and then you already see Luke's one failed mentor-mentee relationship because he did that. He was like, I can sense the darkness in Kylo. Yeah, we all have moments where we think a bad thought and we want to do something horrible, but did you act on it? It's like Minority Report. Can't arrest people before they do the crime. They have to commit it. You can't be ahead of.
Yeah. No,
so
in complete agreement.
Anyway,
I just think I think it's interesting, Lauren, getting your perspective on this too, because like as somebody that doesn't have an attachment to Star Wars like Bridget and I do, it's really cool hearing like, oh, here's what I got out of this with here's what I learned about Star Wars because of this, which I hope is the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it will be. I really do. I think anime, especially since the pandemic started, has hit like an epic spike. Like people are staying home and binging things, so they all started watching anime, and I think that's wonderful, regardless of what all the OG weebs are gonna argue about. Y'all can suck it. That's literally what this podcast is about. But I think that this is going to bring a lot more people into Star Wars, and honestly, I'm kind of excited to look more into it. I say this very lightly because I know Bridget's going to get way too excited if I'm like,
Bridget,
I'm going home about Star Wars. So I'm interested in Star Wars. No, shh.
Yeah.
I know, she's like hooking her in. I've got the little webs in her.
I am up to revisiting
honestly,
Star Wars at a later date.
We'll move on. But I would say, like, one of the things that really helped me love Star Wars in a new way is last year during the pandemic, I was like, oh, I'm going to get into Kurosawa, and I did my big Kurosawa journey. But if you go back and you watch like samurai film and the stuff that Lucas was inspired by, go and watch Kurosawa's Hidden Fortress, which is like where he gets so much of the inspiration from Star Wars from. It's literally like you watch it and you're like, oh, that's Princess Leia. Oh, that's Obi-Wan. There's a fight in the toward the end of the movie where like I saw the fight happening and I went, oh, that's why Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight the way they do. Like they just have these sticks and the whole fight is about anticipation. Because I was always hard on that Obi-Wan Darth Vader fight because they're just stand still and then they'll like hit each other really quick.
Yeah,
I thought it looks like that. Kids playing.
That's my favorite kind
and they
of
back
fight.
up and wait.
My favorite kind of fight, because it's like playing chess, and I'm like,
yeah,
ooh, take your right move. I love it.
I'm an Anakin fighter of like, totally. Oh, here I go.
So like, I would say, and like this is because of Visions. Like, I'm getting a new little anime itch. So like, for anybody listening that like wants to get into Star Wars or wants to get into anime, I would say like chase the inspirations, like find what the inspirations are, and those have given me a deeper love for these things too.
And honestly, if you like this, go watch Demon Slayer.
I haven't seen Demon Slayer yet.
Like, if you like this, go start Demon Slayer immediately. That's my next recommendation for you. Demon Slayer and Samurai Champloo. That's it. That's what you should be watching right now.
Okay, you will love Demon Slayer so much, and you will also ugly cry so much, but it's so good. And then you get to Mugen Train, and then you just rip your heart out. And now you're just gonna really love Demon Slayer, and it's very
the same spiritual elements that this carries. Like it's all about it's all about like the way of the Demon Slayer and like the responsibilities they carry, familial ties, what your driving force
and
is.
even the demons have special powers that are making them more
just
powerful.
The most special, wonderful boy, and we love him. No,
Tanjiro. Buddy Nosuke is the best, wonderful boy who is wearing a pig mask and just runs into every situation, literally head first.
Speaking of animals, let's get into Lop and Ocho, y'all.
What a weird segue. All right, Lop and Ocho. Yeah, so I don't know if I wrote down voice actors because I wrote a lot of really emotional notes during this episode. Like, they are scribbled everywhere, and a lot of them say, what a heartbreaking ending.
I
don't think I did
I'm looking at the cast right now. It's not anybody that like is super recognizable, it looks like. Even the English actors.
I wrote down one. In Japanese. I wrote down Lop. She was done by Siren
Kobayashi, I think.
Kabayoshi, and she plays Eri in My Hero Academia. Kobayashi, you are correct.
Who's who?
She's Eri in My Hero Academia. That's it. That's the only credit she
had.
The
little girl. Yeah.
Interesting.
The end. That's all I wrote down. I didn't even have anything for the studio here. This was done by Geno Studio. They were made in 2015. They're a subsidiary of Twin Engine, and there's really not a lot that they've done so far. They're really hard to find. Like, I went on, like, a deep Wikipedia dive trying to find them. So, this was really good, though, so I hope there's more.
I really liked this one. Like, I would be okay if this one got a spin-off, too.
Yeah, it was dope.
God, it got you in the heart.
I didn't expect to like this one.
All right.
I will say that. Like, when it started, I was like, this feels really different from everything else. And
especially when we have, like, a bunny character. And I know Star Wars has alien characters, but they don't tend to look like animals
this felt
we
like
already
the
know.
weebiest episode of this batch. It's very weeby.
This definitely was the most anime. I will give it that. Like, it definitely felt like you're just jumping into something weird, and I liked it.
Sure, yeah.
I said it had some Ghibli vibes in it, but, like, more like Mononoke, like Wind Rises, kind of darker Ghibli vibes.
It definitely had the messy background appeal. Like, just everything's too busy while the characters just move through.
Too busy, like, kind of spirited away in the village kind of feel. And then also, like, the stance it takes at the end is very Ghibli. Like, it's not black and white. It's complicated and it's emotional, which is every Ghibli film I've ever seen. Okay, so we're on the planet Tau. Tau is struggling to modernize. So that's a big thing there. The Galactic Empire is capitalizing on planet resources, and the people are falling under Imperial oppression. Basically the planet is a lot of poor and starving people trying to live the old life, but the world's just modernizing around them, which, you know, we grew up in that era when the computers and internet came around, and our parents had to try and adapt to that. But we went from early 90s to now, which we're recording a podcast in three different locations.
But that modernization is also a very Ghibli sentiment. Like, now that you invoke Ghibli, it, like, blows this thing open in a whole new way.
It's very Mononoke, like the old way, living one with the forest, but then you know, you've got iron, like, manufacturing, tearing down the forest, like. And I mean, it's like there needs to be a balance. You need to keep growing and moving forward, but you know, it's complicated. So before I knew Lop's name, all my notes are Bunny Girl. She escaped from the Empire, and she has no family. And this lovely family takes her in. This guy's daughter is like, "No, we'll be your family." It's a really sweet moment on the beach, and takes her in. Then we have a time jump, and it's 7 years later. Everybody's kind of grown up. The father is attacked in the Imperial base. He's created a bomb. He's kind of raging out against it. Ocho is the sister who adopted Lop in, and her and her dad are fighting. And poor Ocho wants the Empire to provide growth and prosperity for the future, so she's kind of bought into their propaganda, and she's thinking bigger picture. Like, maybe there could have been, I mean, we know the Empire and it's never great, but maybe there could have been a balance. The father is mad that they're taking over and will be used for war. It's losing their planet. He wants to stay in the old ways. There's no compromise on either side. And that brings in Lop, who's just really upset her family's fighting, and she wants to find a compromise. Basically, Ocho double crosses her dad and the insurrection. She had one chance to, like, try and talk her dad down, and she doesn't do it. And Lop's stuck in this middle of knowing this and knowing her dad's probably going to do something else again. It's causing issues. The Imperial Officer is drawn a very classically evil anime style, is what I wrote, with the long, pointy features on everything. Like, I mean, all the villains that I see in, like, My Hero or in Demon Slayer, like, evil people are drawn very specifically. And so immediately when you see this, like, Imperial Officer, you're like, okay, yeah, you're a bad guy. And then, let's see. Ocho cuts her braid, which symbolizes she's cut off her family and she's fully sided with the Empire. Also very Padawan, kind of like, I don't need you as my master anymore. And that's basically what she's telling her dad.
I just tell you that every time anyone cut their hair in this anime, I was like, like every time. In every episode, I was like, the hair.
The hair.
Yeah,
you know, it's a big deal. It's like Mulan. When she cuts her hair, you're like,
it's a huge deal in anime, too. Especially for all the girls, is whenever they cut their hair, they have their, like, oh no, I'm super awesome now moment.
Well,
Except for Sakura and Naruto. She cut her hair and she tried to be super awesome, and then she just sucked for, like, 5 seasons.
Well, and then it's like in real life, every time a girl cuts her hair, we're going through something. We're making a change. We're making a change. If I dye my hair, I'm going through something. Well,
as
that
the
normally
man
means
that
we're
now
also
has
going
long
something.
hair via the pandemic, there have been several times that I've been through emotional crises where I've been like, I'm just going to cut it all off. I now relate to it. It's crazy.
The best emotional release. Yeah.
Feels so good.
The amount of times I've sat there with buzzers and I'm like, I'm just
Yeah.
going to buzz my head and I have to like talk myself down. Like,
as someone who did buzz her head during the pandemic and is now in the painful regrowth process, if you want your hair back after... You know what? No, just do it. It was really fun and it felt really good. And
I can't. I have a lumpy head.
Been hard, but I just wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, it looks.
Now my hair is like almost
good.
this style.
Yeah, you've got a lot of length now.
Thank you. It's been a long time.
So
anyway, I guess.
We see a lot of Japanese housing and Japanese writing in the temple, and so I like that it culturally is pulling in, like what it's getting inspired from. The father pulls out a lightsaber and gives it to Ocho. I mean,
Lop. Yeah.
Wait, Lop. I wrote. Yes, and they do this Jedi ritual, and Jedi came to the planet, and died and lived here.
I'm so sorry.
And Jedi techniques are passed down through generations. It represents the bond between parent and child. And it's this really emotional moment of, he says, I am your father, and that bond cannot be broken. I can't imagine, I've talked to friends who have been adopted and, I'm a stepchild, and you always have that doubt lingering in the back of your head. But when you hear that, verbally hear that, I absolutely understood the emotion in this scene, because you need that reassurance, because that voice in your head absolutely just wrecks you sometimes. That every time you mess up, you're like, well,
it's an important moment for her, because she takes ownership of her family finally, of her status as a member of this family.
Yeah. She's not trying to mend everything and play the peacemaker. She is
that can now sort of stake her claim in the fight, which is I think a really cool, important theme in this. I think it's great.
Absolutely. So there's traditional garments and hats, which I really like that. I wrote that, the Empire is brainwashing young minds, which is, very sequel heavy, with the Empire brainwashing and that being canon.
Bridget, it's Chirrut Imwe. I told you I would. Chirrut Imwe. That's who Donnie Yen's character is. I told you that I would.
There it is. You only had to wait 2 episodes.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
You got it though. That was impressive. That was
only 5 tangents in between. It's good.
So basically, we see this huge explosion at the Empire headquarters, and classic Star Wars alarm noises, and you're like, "Uh-oh, something's happening." The dad had walked off, and so she's like, "My dad's done something now. I know." After he gave the lightsaber, she knows that her dad is still fighting. So, Ocho is now fully in Imperial clothes, black lipstick, and I was like, that girl, when you dress up real sleek like that, you're on the dark side.
She's a baddie, yeah.
The dark side always has the best fashion. Mm-hmm. It's just always has been, always will be.
I disagree with that as a boy that likes,
Except for Padme.
I love earth tones. I like my dusty fashion. But that's because I love Westerns, and that's the part of Star Wars that I like.
I mean, if I was in Star Wars, I'd 10,000%
wear
everything Rey wears. It looks cozy and cute.
Jedi fashion kind of rules. I like the tall boots, or Resistance, or Resistance and Rebels, wearing the chunkier sort of earth tone stuff. I love it.
I've always
I'm about comfort.
always
I'm
been a
about
Sith
comfort
Bridget
fashion
loves to
overall.
person.
sleep.
Like other
That's what I
than
want.
So
other than Padme, which Padme is like inspiration, I feel like,
She
to the
does.
Sith, because they weren't really a thing, but like they took a cue from her fashion line. But like I always loved Anakin's black cloak over his
See-
brown cloak. Like it looks more epic. I love that you get cool eyes. Like let's
you get
do
to
it.
wear
I would do
eyeliner
it just
when
for
you're
the
in the
eyes.
Sith. Yeah.
Eyeliner. I get to wear slick stuff. I get to wear
You get-
shiny boots. I get to stomp around like I
You
own
get
the
to
place
listen to
and
My
have like a
Chemical
blaster.
Romance when you're a Sith.
Absolutely.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, I got
I get it.
now. It's my favorite band.
Lauren's like trading
Sorry,
it,
guys.
trading it. Sorry.
I'll take my Jedi
so-
Bob Dylan.
I'm just a ghost.
That's great. Lauren, what does Steve want? Oh, what is...
That's Hootie. I don't. There's a cat outside
Oh.
just screaming, and he wants to
No.
kill the cat.
No.
So- Well, he doesn't want to kill the cat. He just wants the cat to go away because this cat's been like chilling on our front porch for a while,
Is it-
and he just gets mad at the boy
is it
cat
Trisket?
that comes over, and he's like, "Hey, no, it's not Trisket.
Okay.
It's a different cat. It's
Oh.
Trisket's friend.
Oh, okay.
May.
Sorry. My mistake to May.
Yeah,
So
thank
basically,
you.
Ocho is now straight up evil, and so Lop is... She even has the red Sith eyes, and when I saw that, I was like, oh, love. Lop has the lightsaber. Ocho is so mad, and she even like yells that you're not family, and I was like, trash. What trash you are. And so they get in this fight, and she like pushes her off, but she lands on a ship and then flies away. And that's just how we end. It's like, what a heartbreaking ending. Like this family just got broken. But I think that's a big thing. Like the Empire brainwashed people and broke up families because that's how they got some powerful people to use their rage and be on their side and take down places, because they just prey on your weakness, which is like your uncontrolled rage, which is how they got Kylo. He was so hurt and upset, and they preyed on that, and then Palpy and Snoke took him in. Palpy. All my
and
notes
Snoke.
say Palpy
That's a
because I'm
lot,
tired of writing
yeah.
Palpatine, and so I always write Palpy.
I respect that. In our FMA notes, instead of writing Hohenheim, I just kept writing Daddy.
I keep writing Daddy Elric, which is more complicated to write than Poenheim, but I'm like,
Yeah.
Daddy Elric said this.
Well, apparently his name is actually Vaughn, so you could just write VAN.
Nah,
But I
I've
wrote
committed to Daddy Elric. Anyway, but Lauren,
I do want to say, if you like this, I have some recommendations for you.
shoot him.
I would say definitely watch Princess Mononoke. Brand New Animal would be a great one if you're into like the Animorph Injustice thing, which is pretty cool. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original, also a Trigger production. And then Neon Genesis Evangelion is a classic. It's amazing. It's very much a government brainwash situation. It's good for everyone. Those are the things I would recommend. But again, I didn't find a lot on Geno Studio. I just know that they're a subsidiary of Twin Engine. Twin Engine does a lot of games, and that's kind of it. That's really all I got.
I mean, what a way to come out swinging
Yeah.
and make your name known. Like, do this really amazing Star Wars episode. So this is like my
I like
third
this ep-
favorite. Like, I really liked this one.
Well, they're only like 6 years old, so
I like this
Oh,
episode a
that
lot.
makes sense.
Stuff coming out
For some
soon.
reason, initially found it really hard to engage with, and I think it was just the stylistic difference. But it was one of those things that I was like, as soon as it finished, I was like, I bet when I come back through Visions, I'm gonna love this one. And again, Bridget, great call on the Studio Ghibli stuff, because that totally like, I see it now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
great. And then that leads us into our last episode.
Akakiri.
My second favorite.
So I like this episode
This
a
is
lot.
my least favorite
Akakiri.
episode.
This is your favorite?
Oh wow.
Lord,
Wow.
My least favorite.
what?
And I was really excited about this one because I love Devilman Crybaby, and I could see Devilman Crybaby in it. Like, I knew immediately that this was done the same way, and I think the animation was good. I think it was well acted, Japanese anyway, and I don't think it was a bad story. I just thought that the like vision of him killing her was really rushed. Like, that part felt incredibly rushed, and if they had given that even just like an extra minute and a half, it could have been completely excellent. Because I do love the way it ended, but the way to get to that ending just happened so quickly that it didn't give me time to care.
I think it would have
You know
been
what I
better
mean?
as like a full-length episode for sure.
And this was
it just needed a little more time. And I mean, again, don't hate it. This is definitely like a solid 7 out of 10 for me, but it's not. The rest of them were so good, and then you end on this, and that ending should make this
Yeah.
just the best, because you don't want it to end
I
like
think-
that.
Yeah.
But it's so good that it does. But it just,
I
you know.
agree, because I remember like seeing they were well into the episode, and I remember seeing like, oh, how long is left in this, and there were only like 6 minutes left with credits, and I was like, oh, it feels like they have a lot to do
Mhm.
before it wraps up.
Yeah.
They also really, really could have given you a
Yeah.
lot more of their background relationship. They really only
Yeah.
gave you one scene, and it was up in the air.
Yeah.
Like, he obviously is in love with her. And they could have put a little more into that. And again, even if they gave that scene just a moment with like a locked eye, just like a nice like love gaze and almost something, that's all
Yeah.
it needed to just bring this up to a 10. But now it's at a 7 because I didn't really care that he stabbed her. I was like,
I think
that's
that
sad.
I think
I did.
the thing that made this one of my favorites is I love how like messy the lines in the art style are. Like I love the way it looks. I think it looks incredible. But I'm also just that I like the messier lines.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I'll check it out.
You gotta
for
watch
sure.
Devil
I'm
May
getting
Cry
so
Baby,
many, like,
bro. You gotta watch
I'm
it.
putting them all in my pocket.
Ugh.
And like again, I'll before Bridget goes like full into it, I think like, and maybe I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, oh, I think maybe it's just like all the ideas that this brings to the table, and all the concepts that this brings to the table of like, again,
Yeah.
I love the sort of struggle of like, I'm a Jedi. I love, and obviously like this has been disputed across Star Wars fandom and canon and all of that stuff. I can't even see it. Yeah, it's
Very episode 3. I'm a Jedi
and I love those-
and I love, and it's really
Maybe.
complicated.
Maybe I'm just missing that part. Like maybe that's what I need to give this my full affection, is that I don't have that original connection. So that nostalgia takes me out of it, and I needed this to just propel itself on its own, and it didn't do that for me.
I think if you watch the prequels and you watch them for an Anakin Padme love story, and then watch how that one love wrecked the entire galaxy as like a fantasy romance story, because that's how I watch a lot of Star Wars, is fantasy romance, because they're Shakespearean, and you also get like these cool political tales in it. But I think that changes your whole perspective on Star Wars stories. Like, all of this was brought down by someone's attachment of wanting love. This like 1,000-year-old like government.
This is a really good point, actually. That it's been great being here. I know we're not done yet, but like I think like the thing that I'm grateful that I saw this as a Star Wars fan, because it made me excited about like the future of Star Wars, and hopefully the stuff that Lucasfilm is embracing moving forward, of like embracing the inspirations and the genres and all of that stuff. But also I as I go back through the episodes, there are like things that I did not enjoy as fully because my Star Wars brain was so active, and that I wasn't fully like Lop and Ocho. Like I wasn't fully able to engage that because it looked so different from other Star Wars things, that my brain was like trying to fix itself into that mode. Right. So
I think like because I came at this at an anime standpoint, because watching this for the show, it made me think. Like, the first thing I went to was Princess Mononoke, and I was like, all right. And then I was able to switch into that mode and didn't.
What a weird balance of people we have watching this right now. This is really. I love this, guys.
Anyways, okay,
this is
Bridget,
great. I love this.
Let's go.
It's all
Akakiri.
snuggly. Ready to dive in? Here we go. So I've got some voice actors. First thing, George Takei is Sinshu. Henry Golding is Tsubaki. Jamie Chung is Misa. And then we have 2 Squid Game actors in here, Paul Wakauchi and Kyeon Young. So fun little voice actors.
I only wrote down one. I wrote down Misa. She's played by Lynn. Lynn is also a singer, and she does all the music for Persona 5.
I love Persona. Lauren!
Get it? My favorite video game of all time. It's my favorite. I have a Ryuji literally here on my desk. I love Persona 5.
I yelled at everybody on my Twitch stream the other day because I was like, y'all, probably as soon as spooky season's over, y'all are getting a Persona 5 playthrough, and y'all are going to have to sit through it because I want to play Persona 5 again so bad. Come hang out. There
you
Can
go.
I come hang out with you and play Persona 5? Because Persona 5 is everything. Also, so excited for Shin Megami Tensei coming out. Can I just say, Atlas has given us so much
I had no idea. The
content, and
Persona
I'm so
5
excited.
music.
But Lynn does all the music.
We'll keep going.
It's so good. She does all the music for Persona 5, and she's excellent. Literally, River in the Desert is my ringtone. It has been for
now I'm gonna have it stuck in my head the rest of the night.
I don't care.
What is my
so
ringtone?
sorry.
What is my ringtone again?
Yours is a little bit Alexa's. It's the only different ringtone in my phone.
I love it.
But she also does. She's just a video game person.
Oh, cool.
She does the voice of Mei in Overwatch, and she does Tsukishima in Shin Megami Tensei Sahori, which was the one that came before this one that is now coming out, or the one after technically, because this is a remake. So there you go. But
I stand Lynn
we
now.
love Lynn.
Lynn,
we
we
stand
love you.
Lynn. I have so much Lynn on my life. We love you, Lynn. Thank you.
I love you, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
No.
All right, so here we go. There's a Sith hidden among the royal family. The dad has died. The princess is fighting. She wants to try and get back to her home because it has been taken over by said Sith who killed her father. A Jedi has come to help. I wrote that it's an interesting animation style.
Did you like the
reminded
animation
me?
style?
I did, but it reminded me of something, and I still have not been able to pin what it reminds me of. So I'm sure you'll have things to remind me of at the end of this.
Mm-hmm.
So she needs guides back to the palace, and she's outlawed, and she can't just walk around everywhere. She'll get caught. So she has these two really goofy guides that are drawn. The way they're drawn is what reminded me of something, and I cannot figure it out.
Two characters in Hidden Fortress that inspire. It's a cyclical thing. Two characters in Hidden Fortress that are the inspirations behind C-3PO and R2-D2. That's why one of them's tall and one of them's like short and round.
So
okay. I kept thinking of Prince of Egypt.
When I looked at them, I thought of Rugrats.
Oh my god!
Interesting.
The shape of their weird heads. Like,
see,
instantly, I was like, "That's Tommy
I
Pickles."
kept going to Prince of Egypt as the two guys that work for the Pharaoh.
Priests.
So it's Steve Martin and Martin Short. Yeah, the priests. Yeah, because they're drawn that same way. There's one short, stubby guy. There's one tall, skinny guy. And so I think there's something else because it didn't satisfy like the click in my head, but they remind me of the priest in Prince of Egypt, which is a bomb movie. All right.
Since Lauren invoked Rugrats, I would just like to say on the record, Stu Pickles hot.
All right.
I would just like to offer it to them.
Facts.
All right. Sorry, Bridget, continue.
Facts. Straight facts. I kind of stand
Chucky's dad.
I stand. What's Chucky's dad's name? What is his name? No, he has a name.
It's not.
It's Finster.
Oh
Something
man,
Finster.
that's gonna bother me. Bridget, keep going. I'll look it up.
Okay.
It was
I'll do the
literally
research.
just in my head.
Traditional
I'm sorry.
housing again. I really love that this has been a theme in all of these episodes. The Jedi is having visions that physically hurt him, and we don't really see what it is at first, so then we get to see it later. The King's sister killed. Go ahead.
I didn't even have to look it up. It's Chaz.
Chaz
Finster.
What a name. I need to text my friend Chad. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Chad.
Thank you for that reminder.
Oh no.
Chad, happy birthday. So the king's sister has killed him and is the Sith that took over. Bam, bam, bam. So it's in the blood. There is nothing that has not been fated, is a quote, which is, I like it. Like my note said, it's very episode 3, which is, Anakin sees that vision of Padme dying, and Yoda's like, hey man, like, that's what sucks about visions, that sometimes they change, but sometimes you cannot do anything to change this. And Anakin basically causes this change, and like causes the vision to happen, where if he were to just keep going on normal, he might not have caused it. So has a whole big spiral of like, he go like Donnie Darko thinking down like a wormhole. But I love the music in this episode. It reminds me a lot of the classic prequel, John Williams classic-y. You will join me. It is written. It is your destiny. And I'm like, okay, so this is just straight up episode 3. Because not a lot happens. They're traveling. They get there. A lot of things happen. So we realize his vision is that he kills her. And the princess. And he's like, I love her. I wouldn't do that. Well. So dark visions that sane him, that haunt him. I don't know what I wrote. Anyway, I said it's like Anakin. It's clouding his judgment. He has the vision that he accidentally kills the princess and disguised as an evil, who's disguised as an evil guard. And then the Sith says, with you by my side, I just lost my note. With you by my side, we can rule together and bring order to the galaxy. And you can save Misa if you turn to the dark side. Please help me save her, my master. And I was like, you're going to make me relive my biggest heartbreak. Second biggest heartbreak. First or second. I don't know. It's poor Skywalkers. Heartbreak, like, that I have to do with in episode 3. Like, the only reason he accidentally kills Mace Windu because he's just supposed to save Padme, and then he's just spiraling, and Palpatine preys on that, and he's like, I'll help you save the one you love. And he's like, okay, this is all I have left now. But it's not. And so because you're trying to avoid this thing and trying to control your own future so much that you caused this future to happen, and that's why I'm like, I never want visions, because, oh my gosh, I would totally do that. So, I
don't remember any of this. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, did Anakin kill Mace Windu? Like,
Anakin cuts off Mace Windu's hand, and Palpatine shoots him with the Force lightning out the window, and he falls to his death. Yeah.
And he goes out like a window.
But
okay,
because Anakin cut off his hand, They actually do Force healing, and I was like, cool, where was that? Where was that in the prequels, man? Because I love the Force healing stuff. I love that in the sequels, Life Force, because I think that, when you read, like, the written versions of the prequels, Padme doesn't die of sadness. She dies because her life force is being sucked, which I think is a Palpy thing. I think he is sucking that life force into Anakin, which is why he feels so guilty. And he's like fully fledged Darth Vader, and he's like, you killed her. Which is technically true because Palpatine took her life force, and she just lost the will to live because her soul has literally been sucked out. So they force heal and puts on the hood and walks up the stairs like Anakin, puts on that hood, does the epic stair walk, walks away, and is now fully into the Sith. And I'm like,
I love this stuff, man.
Dang it! We're ending this whole series the way we ended episode 3.
The ending.
It really is.
The ending was the best part of this episode. It was absolutely perfect. This entire anthology gave you just so much hope. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oh yeah, life sucks. Remember this. But also you gotta respect him for keeping his word. And I love so much that you love the animation style of this, because there really isn't anything like it except for Devilman Crybaby.
No.
Like, that is what it is. And it's cool because their whole thing is that they want to be intelligent and instinctual, and they give you this almost primitive style art where it's all just like, you can tell that someone just scratched it out real fast, because that's not what's important. It doesn't want you to focus on the art. It wants you to focus on the story.
But there's something so beautiful about art like that.
Forward. It really is. And because even though it's messy, it's still structured. And the way that they do their line work is so classic. Like, it's almost like watercolor. Like, it's like an ink blot. And it's just so good. And there's nothing like it except for Devilman Crybaby.
And the Prince of Egypt.
Or, like, if you Trigger does a lot of Science Sara-esque art too. Like, it's all very flowy and a little off. So, like, if you like that Gurren Lagann, go check that out. It's a little crazy and great, you know. But like, I'm telling you guys, Devilman Crybaby, it also gives you that same unsettled feeling.
I don't like that.
It's not as horrible, but it's...
I'm very much a completist.
This isn't as horrible. Devilman Crybaby is horrible. It's so good. There's
I'm
no
gonna
hope
be
in
the
world.
Devilman Crybaby.
I was in depression for years. But it's just
It
really
sort of reminded me.
I really enjoyed this.
Go ahead.
But I wish... Oh no, I just wish that they had given you more meat and less potatoes
I think,
on the story.
All right, Samwise, calm down.
That's all.
I'm
Hey.
again sort of reevaluating all of this, but like one of the things this really reminded me of while I was watching it is right now I have challenged myself to watch all 59 Disney animated features before Encanto comes out. And so I'm sort of I'm a giant Disney animation nerd. And I'm sort of in this era of Disney animation that like it's a lot of people's like deep cut favorites. So it sort of starts right after Sleeping Beauty and goes all the way through like Fox and the Hound. And basically Disney had lost all this money on Sleeping Beauty. And so they started doing this like, xenograph animation where they essentially would like, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it was essentially photography on animation cells, and then they'd ink it. Or they would not do the inking process. They would take pictures of the pencil lines, and
so super cool.
Oh,
What
rad.
you're talking about, they actually do that in Demon Slayer. Like, that's how they created all of their backgrounds and how it looks so beautiful. It's actual.
You'll see the
pictures
most
of places they took in Japan.
cool.
beautiful photos of Wisteria.
Photos and
they would
made...
take pictures of the pencil
All right.
in.
Anyway, continue.
And
Sorry.
then would put that against the animation cells and color it, right? Basically. So like you get to 101 Dalmatians and you watch 101 Dalmatians, and that's kind of got that scratchy look to it. Walt at the time hated it, but I'm going back through and I'm like, no, this like I like that it feels a little right. One, it invented an animation style that was way cheaper and it helped them pump out movies faster, but also like there is something so earthy about it that feels it like feels messier. And I think that's probably what another thing that like even without all the like meat in this short, stylistically with all of the like classic Star Wars romance tropes, it gives me a feeling, right? But while we were talking about this, it made me upset because I forgot what my true number 2 short in this is, in the anthology is, and it's The Village Bride. I did not. I know you did. Yeah.
Oh, we talked about that. It's also very
Mononoke. I think
Mononoke.
The Village Bride are my favorites.
That's probably.
It's very Studio Ghibli.
The Twins is my favorite.
I love the Twins because the Twins is still like pop art.
Ooh, I love
the colors.
Favorite. That's really hard.
And the Twins. I like the Twins a lot. Anyways, I just wanted to go back.
The colors are pretty.
Talk about that.
That's great.
Respect.
I like that. Does that mean you get to watch Home on the Range? I love that movie, and people don't love it enough. I sing the yodeling song.
You were the first person in my life.
It's on my running playlist.
I love Home on the Range.
I've never seen it.
The first person I've ever heard say
It's so cute and fun. I sing the yodeling song all the time. Like it's on my running playlist, and Daniel and I. Like, you'll have a lot of anime music, a lot of really intense music, and then I'll break into the yodel song, and I'm like, yeah!
Incredible.
Here we go! I am not doing that. Nope.
How does it go, Bridget? Give me a
It's not late enough. It's not late enough.
I've never heard it, though. I've never seen Home on the
Range. I have it on DVD.
I feel like you need
so
if
like, you want to watch it, come on over. We'll yodel.
I have to drive 2 hours.
There you go. You missed it. I was quietly doing it.
That was pretty good. The only yodel song I know is from The Sound of Music. That's it.
Yeah, I just think I tired myself out on Sound of Music.
As soon as I got Disney Plus, I watched The Sound of Music back to back 3 times. I don't know why that happened, but it just felt
used
like
to
it
watch
needed
it.
to happen. I was like, you know what?
I used to watch it all the time. I had it on VHS. Every Mother's Day, we'd go to Draft House and watch it. And now all I want is like those candied pecan oatmeal things, and that's about all my takeaway of Sound of Music. Now I'm like, this makes me want some candied pecans. Other than that, I'm really tired of it.
All I ever think of is that Homeboy is definitely not 17 going on 18. He's like 25 going on 30. And I'm just like,
well, you know that girl in real life, like, had a little fling with the dad actor, and I was like, it what? Christopher Plummer and her.
I did.
And when I learned that, I was like, it what? Ooh. It what? Because she's like 20-something, and I was like, but you're 16 going on 17. No, you're not.
Better beware, be
all right.
Careful.
Well, Hunter, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun with you all. Thank you for letting me
been a pleasure.
Get like philosophical and thematic about Star Wars. It's like my favorite thing to talk about. So it just means the world to me. Lauren, I am taking all of those anime recommendations and I will get to them eventually. I can't promise I will get to them quickly, but
please,
they will come sooner rather than later. I really
well, you have a lot to watch.
I've got that,
Disney
and
still,
I've got
so
my
you're good.
7th rewatch of Cowboy Bebop coming up for the live action series, and all of that. I'm very excited about the live action.
Excited about the live action?
How
do you feel?
Hold on.
He's going to get his.
Oh, holding.
I just had to. Bridget,
hold on.
I have
Hunter.
a highlighter.
Hold you.
This is
Hunter. Hold your stuff.
Wait! Don't. I have a sword. Wait.
Go get your sword.
If we get swords, I get to have a sword.
Get your sword.
And then I'll
be right back.
then I'll finish my point about the Cowboy Bebop live action series. But Bridget,
I still haven't
this
watched
is the
it.
same one I had at the. This is the one I bought for Carrie Fisher's memorial.
Oh,
it's the only lightsaber.
This is the one I made it. I made it Galaxy's Edge. It's very heavy.
My thing about the Galaxy's Edge lightsabers is that I have not seen the process yet. I have not watched any of the videos, and I refuse to.
Ooh, you're gonna love it.
Completely cold.
I went in completely cold and ugly cried.
I'm gonna cry.
It's such a magical thing, and they did it so well. Yeah. It's worth the ungodly amount of money.
Bridget, I'll ask you while we're waiting for Lauren. How do you feel about Galaxy's Edge?
I love Galaxy's Edge. Honestly, I could live there. It's such a small part of the park, but they've done it so well and so intricately that I could spend. I did spend hours there. All right, there she is.
There's her anime sword. Look, we all have them. No, it's okay.
For the listeners, Hunter and I have blue lightsabers, and Lauren has now pulled out.
This is so good.
All right.
This is the thumbnail.
1, 2, 3. There we go. That's the thumbnail.
So, anyways, Galaxy's Edge. I have done like a full like canon deep dive on Galaxy's Edge, and I've read like some of the books, and I'm obsessed with it.
It's great. Don't eat the jerky. Don't eat the jerky. It's disgusting. Everything else, I never found. I don't know. I love jerky, and I ate their jerky, and it was in my purse for like the entire week.
Oh
and Brian was like, "Why do you still have it?" I was like, "I feel bad throwing it away because it was so expensive.
It's Wampa
So
jerky.
gross. It's just not real
jerky."
But every other food item there is so good. Banta wraps. Oh my gosh,
they're so good. They're so good.
I love them, and the bar is so cool. Oh my gosh,
DJ
I want
Rex.
to just live there. The drinks, like there's some drinks that make your mouth go numb. Mine had popping bubbles. I had a non-alcoholic, like this crazy fruit punch with like all these different like tropical fruits, and because I just bought it because I wanted the porg mug, the porg tiki, and I was like, can I just get this punch again? They're like, you'd have to buy the mug again. I was like, no, I just want the punch. Like that was really good. Like it was amazing.
This will be when you all eventually have more of a following and you like start your Patreon and everything. We'll take Lauren to Galaxy's Edge as a Patreon episode. I will gladly join you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. Look,
You mean
any
we have
excuse to get me to
10
Galaxy's
listeners
Edge.
instead of 9?
6. We only have 6. We found out at the beginning of the episode because we're 3.
Yeah, sure.
Shut up.
We are people. And
Are
I'm
we?
and I'm not
Are we?
and
We
I'm
are
not a
people
host.
too.
I am a guest, so I am a
One day.
listener.
One
You
day.
have 7.
That is true.
There you go. There
Listen
and
to
look,
the show.
Look how
They
much
have fun.
Hunter likes us,
We have fun.
everyone. Please
No,
listen to
Cowboy
our
Bebop live
podcast.
action series. I am really excited about. Again, like it's my favorite anime of all time, and I'm not usually precious about things. So like when things get remade, I always give them a shot.
I'm not either. It really bothers me when people are like, well, I want it to be shot
Boring,
for shot.
boring.
And I'm like, okay,
Let
well, then you
somebody
just
else
want
do
to watch
something.
the anime, which is
Yeah.
fine. Go
Well,
watch the anime.
And
But
you
don't
have
you
like
want something
such
new?
a good cast
Something
here,
new and fun?
It is like fully backed by the studio, and I don't know if you heard
And they kept the original
the Japanese dub is going to be done by the
composer, which is
original
really
Japanese
dope.
voice actors. So like it feels like I don't always trust Netflix with a lot of things.
Yes.
Netflix
That's
seems
dope.
to disappoint me a lot.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
They do well, and then they do horrible.
And sometimes
like, they
it
give you
feels like
something
the
good, and
harder
then they're like, actually,
the harder they
no,
go in on
sorry.
advertising something, the worse it is. So I'm a little nervous about it. But like John Cho as Spike is just, I'm drooling. Yeah. I'm forgetting the
Perfect.
actor's name, but
Perfect
Jet, the guy who's
casting.
playing Jet, was
Perfect casting.
was in Luke Cage, and I love him. And like,
They really wanted to make it
Terry Crews?
Oh my gosh, what's his name? Is in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, Terry Crews.
Terry
Loves yogurt.
They thought about Terry Crews, and every part of me really want. I just love when comedians do something that's a little more serious, like funny
I would
but
be
serious.
interested to see that.
So I was kind of
think
rooting for Terry Crews.
Terry
but
Crews,
I
I think,
it's
is
a
too
very
big of a
good
name,
option.
but
And also,
I agree.
It is hard for me to imagine Terry Crews playing something straight and me connecting with it in not a comedic way.
He did it really
Right.
well in Brooklyn Nine-Nine on
Vince
a few
Vaughn.
episodes when they addressed some hard topics.
Vince Vaughn
Yeah.
has taught me to never be afraid of comedians stepping out. Like, Brawl on Cell Block 99
That movie's crazy.
is one of the most brutal,
I don't think I'll
amazing
ever watch
movies I've
that
ever
one.
seen. And everything Vince Vaughn does that is serious is good. Like, I loved Hacksaw
Yeah,
Ridge.
he's in it for a bit.
Hacksaw Ridge?
But whatever, it was a good movie. Yeah, he was in Hacksaw Ridge.
No.
I thought you were saying
No,
like
that
he
was
directed or wrote it.
that
I was
was
like,
that was
thank you.
noted.
No.
Yes, I do.
You know,
remember
somebody
seeing
we
that.
should all look up to and admire. A man named Mel Gibson, one of the great artists of our time, and somebody. I'm
One of the
kidding.
greats.
I should be clear.
One of the
It's
greats.
complete
Let
sarcasm.
me
Don't
tell
worry.
ya.
That is sarcasm. Let us
Horrible
clarify.
Horrible person.
I
But a
am so
okay
mad
movie.
about that because I loved Mel Gibson as a kid because he was the voice of John Smith and I loved that voice. And then, I found out about him and it was like, way to ruin this for me, man.
I've never seen
will say-
Passion of the Christ.
I will
I've
say
never
a-
seen Braveheart, and
I will say I
What's the
think
other
one? Okay.
Apocalypto is a
Cast- did
masterpiece.
he do Castaway?
Apocalypto is
Did he do Castaway?
incredible. It's really good.
Apocalypto is really good. First time I ever made out with a boy
Haven't seen
was
that
during
either.
Apocalypto.
What?
was watching it at a friend's
Weird.
house, and my friend was trying to help me. I was
Weird.
gonna like kiss boys. It was my mom's rule,
Right.
and so we went to her house to watch Apocalypto. Yes, I think I've told her this. It's
Sorry,
very
Mom.
on point for me.
Don't listen.
And so we went to my friend's house
Oh, okay.
to watch Apocalypto, and she was
Also,
trying to make this
I
happen.
will say also a weird hangout movie. An incredibly
Yeah.
weird hangout movie.
Very on point for me. This is when I was really obsessed with Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
And,
Good.
so she goes into the kitchen to make a
Love
snack
Pan's
for a
Labyrinth.
while, and he knows that's the cue. And I am so engulfed in this movie. He turns to me, and I was like, "Could you stop? Hold on, hold on." And so she came back, and I was like, "Oh, you're gonna have to go back in the kitchen." Like, not subtle at all. Everybody was embarrassed about me, but I was like, it was a really good scene. Like, they were stuck in this cave. I had to watch what
Goodness.
was happening. Same thing happened with Spider-Man 3. Went with a bunch of friends. They all were making out, and he turned to me, and I was like, stop touching me. I'm trying to watch Spider-Man.
You know, I have gone on many a movie date where my date tried to
Sure,
kiss me, and I was like, "Why did we pay money
it
to
is
come here
nice.
if you're going to kiss me?" Like, shut
I
up
watched
and watch
Pirates,
movie.
the third one,
I'm
like 5 times
it.
in theaters. I watched it really just twice, and then made out the other 3 times, and so it was like my favorite soundtrack.
Well, I
While
stopped
making
caring
out,
as
it was
much
like a
when I
win-win.
worked at the theater.
So thanks, Hans
Epic,
Zimmer. You
epic
scored
romantic
a.
soundtrack. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, too bad that was a horrible high school love, but whatever. Yeah, what was that? Was someone screaming?
Did y'all hear that?
Why?
It's my little brother. He's playing Rocket League in his room. I went in there to grab my Master Sword. And yeah, he's playing Rocket League.
Oh, good.
I wasn't sure if it was a good yell or
very
bad.
excited.
Yay,
Ian.
Ian!
Congratulations,
Listen to our
Ian.
show, Ian.
You did
You
good.
won't.
Oh,
Yay!
Ian,
He
we
does
found,
listen to our
we
show.
found the
He's
fourth.
a good brother.
It's
And that's sweet.
on my fingers. I'm keeping track.
Yeah. Hey, my friend Mitchell listens. That's 5.
There we go.
Michelle listens. That's 6.
Michelle.
My mom listens.
Will
Real
hasn't
husband
started
move.
listening yet.
My mom.
What a butt.
Oh, sure.
My mom.
He
That's 7.
hasn't
We're
watched
missing
the
2.
anime yet. So, oh, your mom. There you go. I won't.
Neither is my mom, but
my
she's very
she won't.
supportive.
She's just not into this
Aw.
stuff, which is fine.
Hi, Bridget's mom.
Hi, Mom.
That's good.
No, and Michael's been
Ryan
sending
and Michael don't
me his Twitch stream
Because
stuff,
they hate
and I'm
you.
like, I'm doing something, but so I texted both him and Ryan a picture of us, and I was like, I can't. So he's playing a scary game right now.
Maybe we should just Twitch stream Persona 5.
That's it. That's
And
it.
then we can just play Persona
Gateway-
5 together.
Gateway
Wouldn't that be
anime.
super fun?
Yeah.
Let's do that, Bridget.
Anime games.
It's
We can
basically an
stream
anime.
live onto Twitch through this site, which I just
basically
found
an
out the
Oh,
other
that's
day.
pretty cool.
No,
Oh dear lord.
no,
Do we
I don't
want to
do
do
that.
that? That sounds really
I mean, I guess
scary.
we could not record it on Twitch, and then
Ugh.
if you get to watch live and be like 2 weeks ahead, or we could make our Twitch
Well, you
private,
can't
and only
leave me if we're
Patreons can
live.
watch live. And then I don't know. Sorry, I'm gonna spiral.
You're like
I'm gonna
you're like
spiral
doing
down a
business-
marketing hole.
business
And then they can
pitches
watch me
on-
play
on
Persona
air.
5.
Yeah.
I just built a whole Redbubble with our logo and spent 2 hours on that the other day. So pretty soon you can buy some merch with
There
our
you
logo
go.
on it.
Nice. Oh,
Aw,
sorry,
Ian.
Ian.
Aw.
Ian just
All right.
Sorry, Ian.
Well,
He's
for our
very
short
upset.
Star Wars,
Aw.
we went long again. It's the shortest series we've covered, and it's our 2 longest episodes.
Well,
There is.
There is.
Yeah.
there's a lot to discuss. It's and that's the best part about this series is it gives you big feelings no matter what spectrum of fan you are. Like,
You heard it here
obviously,
first,
we
folks.
got it all here. You heard it here, folks. It's good. Honestly,
Nice.
10 out
I
of
give
10.
the whole series a solid 10
I
out of
agree.
10. It was fantastic. And
I
everyone
agree.
should watch
Yes,
it.
yes, and everybody should
Everyone
watch
should
Star
watch
Wars,
it.
and everybody should be
Truly
nicer
believe that.
to Kelly Marie Tran, you jags.
Hit hit.
Yeah. Amen.
Hit hit.
Amen.
Yeah. Pip Pip Cheerio. And Hayden
Pip,
Christensen is a
Pip,
great actor,
Cheerio.
and if any of y'all listening don't agree, then you're wrong, and email us at gatewayanimePodcast@gmail.com, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. Okay? Cool.
And look out for that awesome photo of me and him.
You know
hugging,
we're
saying,
gonna have to
"Hi,
post that on
Bridget, we
Instagram.
love you."
I'm
Okay,
really
bye. Oh yeah, and it's gonna be great. I'm giving it to you. I don't want it. I don't care about Hayden Christensen.
I should get out of here before this turns violent,
It's a gift
even
for
across.
you. That also has me
All right.
in it.
All right, so we love
Crosswaves.
anime. We love y'all. Hunter, thank you. We love you. Thank you for coming on.
Love y'all so much. Thank you for having me.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks for coming.